make some noise for 3 Ireland's EStars!
Wow, Cork City completely decimating Shamrock Rovers.
We are a €20,000 prize pool with a Las Vegas trip and the semi-finals and finals in 3 Arena. It's huge.
Wow, if that didn't get you riled up, nothing will. Do you remember last week, Connor? Good times. It was in Dundalk. We had 10 teams, and tell you what, there is some serious talent when it comes to gaming in Ireland. What did you think?
I thought it was extremely tense. It was more tense than I thought it would be, right? I think it was the fact that those who were playing in a more confined space. They knew they were watched by you, the wonderful people on Twitch. They also knew that the fact that they were playing against another team for €20,000. It really felt like it changed the dynamic of things.
Absolutely, the stakes are high. That's what makes this the biggest gaming tournament in the whole of Ireland. €20,000 and a trip to Las Vegas up for grabs. And you could tell, talking to the guys last week, they are wanting it. They are wanting to become the champions in Ireland. And they are good.
Yeah, one of the things that surprised me as well, the trash talking. Now, the trash talking online, if you're playing from a day in, day out, week in, week out basis, there's a bit of trash talking, right? Because you can talk about your gaming strategy. Sometimes some personal issues are brought into it. But last week...
Oh, it got personal.
It got tasty.
There were comments about hair. There were comments about clothes. Guys, serious handbags.
Well, I learned a lot last week. Last week was brilliant. The fact that we had some of the best and I suppose most thorough experts in the game, Oisin and Nikita. And this evening we're going to hear from them again. They were quite, let's just say, enamoured with the trash talking, more so than we were.
Oh, absolutely. But seriously, the guys that have been training for this for months, they know how much this means. They know how important this is. They know how high the stakes are. And do you know what I loved about last week as well? It was the teamwork. Some of these guys have never worked together before. They've never played together, never trained together. And it was like some of them knew each other their entire lives. They knew what each player was going to do next. It's all about communication, and that is key in this competition.
Yeah, you're right. The communication was a big factor last week, and particularly those who hadn't played together before. We're going to be talking about communication later on. We're going to be talking to each team captain right throughout the evening. But this evening is brought to you in association with their friends at 3, also Lucas Aid, 4-Star Pizza, and our friends at Peak Clothing as well. So they've been kidding us out. It's a chilly enough evening here in Cork, but it's not as cold as it was in Dundalk.
I think you've got a little bit of pizza on your face there. Yeah, you might want to sort that out. But look, we are getting so excited. The guys are inside Big Betty as we speak, getting some last-minute preparations underway.
That sounded rude.
Oh,
explain what Big Betty is.
Oh, Big Betty. Hey.
Just I'll explain what Big Betty is. Big Betty is probably the most impressive gaming truck you will see on planet Earth. What we have is...
She's gorgeous, by the way.
She is very beautiful. There she is, right? You will see all the players going head-to-head against each other. They're in there. All the gaming stations are set up. And the players, this is the weird thing about it. It's not like a sports match, right? The players are in there at the moment. They're conversing. They're talking. And it's getting a little bit tense in there.
I heard there was already some mouse mat drama.
What?
Mouse mat drama. Somebody forgot their mouse mat. But it's okay. It's been sorted. It's been fixed. We're all across it here on 3 Ireland's EStars. We've got everything you need. But if you're watching at home, stay tuned, because seriously, the talent is good. We've been learning a lot, I can tell you.
Yeah, we have been learning a lot as well. And one thing I have learned over the last sort of, I suppose, 3 weeks is the fact that you do not touch a man/woman's mouse. You do not touch a man/woman's keyboard either, right?
It's personal.
When we were setting the Big Betty insides up a couple of weeks ago, it was like, yeah, we had supplied fresh, new, gorgeous keyboards, brilliant new mouses.
No. We don't want new keyboards. We don't want new mouse mats. We want our mouse mats. That's what's important here. That is what is key.
Yeah, it's very important. If you want to get in touch with us this evening, we'll be giving you information right throughout the evening. Give us a shout on Twitter. You can leave any of your comments on Twitch as well.
Be nice.
Be nice. Yeah, be nice. Do be nice. We will occasionally say the wrong thing. Do feel free to pick us up on it, but not like on a Wednesday evening, 3 or 4 days after the game's finished, just to give me abuse. You can do that if you want. But I'm at Connor Phillips if you want to give us a tweet this evening.
And I'm at Holly H News, I think. I am. But look, seriously, do give these guys as much support. This is the biggest tournament of its kind in Ireland. We've seen competitions like this throughout Asia, across North America, across Europe, and here we are in Cork tonight, and it's a gorgeous evening here too.
Well, you get to keep your hands warm. You've got those kind of hands warmers. I don't really have them. So
I can get you a pair of gloves.
Do us a favour. Keep us warm through the medium of comments, through the medium of Twitch, and through the medium of watching all the games this evening. Now, tell us a little bit about what they're playing for, and how long we're playing for, and who's playing against who as well.
We've got League of Legends, which is, of course, the biggest online game of its kind. 10 million online users every month, believe it or not. And honestly, it's great. It's worked really well for this tournament. People are getting really, really excited about it. I have to say, from what I've seen last week, we've got some very skilled gamers here, you'll have noticed. Already, I'm looking out for 3. 3 is the team that I'm looking out for, and Sligo.
Right, so last week, well, I had to get my notes out here. So last week, the winners last week, Sligo 3, the aforementioned 3, St. Pat's, Bray Wanderers as well. Okay, Cork, they're the top 5 teams at the moment. Now, Bray are taking on St. Pat's very shortly, which will mean one of the top half of teams will suffer defeat. Right, and on top of that, Derry are taking on Dundalk, 2 teams who lost last week and 2 teams who were favourites, specifically Dundalk. Now, Dundalk were playing at home last week. They were favourites. They had quite a topsy-turvy game in the fact that they were leading in their game, they went behind in their game.
It was tight.
And then all of a sudden, last couple of minutes, they really got piled upon, so to speak, during the attack battles in League of Legends. And then Dundalk are bottom of the table.
And what about Shamrock Rovers? What about Shamrock Rovers? Again, that was, from my memory, was that an annihilation? Is that fair to say at this early stage?
Oh, I think it was the only reason it was an annihilation, and the reason it was like that is because Shamrock Rovers, unfortunately, decided to tell the world that they would be the best team in the world.
Yeah, they got cocky. And Limerick, there was a lot of big talk from Limerick as well. From my memory, the team captain there as well, Norbert, there was big talk going on beforehand. He was feeling very confident and then came crashing down from a great height. He's quite tall as well.
Yeah, big lad. So, how's it going to go this evening? Like I said, Bray taking on St. Pat's in a couple of minutes. Derry taking on Dundalk as well. It's going to be a battle of the teams on up to the northern part of the country as well. The League of Legends, the communication of the players, like we've mentioned already, we have heard that even outside of gameplay, what they've been doing is they've actually been getting together, finding out about each other, having the crack, having a chat.
And that's not easy. It's not easy whenever you've just met somebody, because obviously you do have a captain, somebody telling you what to do, talking you through the tactics, which, as we know, is very important, crucial in this game. Taking orders like that? Oh, I don't know. You know I'm not good at taking orders.
No, she's not good at taking orders. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on Twitch this evening. Remember, €20,000 worth of a prize. A trip to Las Vegas for one of these teams, represented Sligo, St. Pat's Athletic, Bray Wanderers, Cork Bohemians, Shamrock Rovers, Derry, Limerick, Dundalk, and also the wonderful people at 3, the sponsors of the 3 Ireland's EStars.
Take a breath, that was quite a mouthful there. But you know what, Connor? There's one very important thing you have to remember throughout all this.
What is it?
This is not a game.
It's time. Let's make our way over to the players. Let's make our way over for the first batch of games. Welcome to this, the 3 Ireland's EStars.
Hello and welcome. Thank you very much, Connor and Holly. That was great. I'm Nikita Wraithwell Buffy, and this is O'Sheen, BP Cast.
Malloy, yeah?
Malloy,
Almost.
Somehow, unintentionally, we managed to coordinate our outfits. It's great.
Don't confuse us, though. We're
very different.
Very different sometimes, but the shirts
might
confuse you.
One of us knows everything.
Yeah.
Not so much, but it's all right.
You got info. Okay. You know, you're more of a showman. You know.
There we go. That's
you like getting the energy out there, and I like that.
So last week we had some great games, some upsets, unexpected victories, particularly Cork, who I think we were talking about the MVP, and we definitely agreed it came from Cork. We just weren't sure on exactly who.
Yeah, like Cork really did play well last week, and it can't really be understated how much of a victory over Shamrock Rovers it is. Not because Shamrock Rovers claimed to be the best team, but because they are on paper one of the top teams who should be making top 4 into the live finals in the Tree Arena. So Cork getting that win, getting one 3 points on their belt, and 2, getting rid of one of the big teams. You don't have to deal with that anymore. It's like they're done. They're behind you. They're in the back mirror, and that's a huge kind of setback for Shamrock, but a huge step up for Cork City. My MVP had to have been Gulag on the rec side. He was so strong in that early game. Yes, it is the mid laner of Cork did it very well. The top laner did it very well, but it was that early game on the rec side that really just kind of elevated the team to be able to kind of go, you know what, lads, we can actually win this.
Yeah, absolutely, and to come back from that early game kind of cheese gank on the Tarek, which was, it was a kill in sub 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and for them to mentally not break at that and kind of come back was quite impressive. And I was really happy just to see their team play throughout it, because there was a moment around mid-game that they were having a bit of issues closing it out, and we saw Shamrocks come back in, but Cork didn't let them get too much of an advantage and were able to finish it in the end. So it's just a good game all around.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shamrock, they've kind of were praising Cork, but Shamrock have to come back. Now, they have a new jungler this week. They've got Razor in the jungle rather than previous weeks. I cannot pronounce his name. I can spell it, but I cannot pronounce it. So they have to really prove that this is an upgrade, that they've come back as a stronger team, because being totally honest, yes, they had lack of jungle control in their Cork game. Their bot lane looked so weak, and it just looked like they got such a strong combination of Braum and Varus, and yet did not do anything with it. That, to me, was a huge mistake on their part.
After getting a kill on Tarek.
Yeah, that's it.
So it was, they had the volley ban. The volley ban wasn't necessarily impactful, but nor did he give up anything. So a bit so on the rotations at times, but now that volley ban has been replaced potentially by a better player. It looks like, at least on paper. But we'll have to see, because like you say, my issue with the team wasn't really the skill set of the players, but it was the teamwork. And after getting that sort of advantage, I feel like you really should have run away with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially as when we're talking about the whole team, I think it's the mid laner, ADC, and support that are the more well-known, proven players.
Well, that's it. They've played with each other for so long. They should really be knowing the ins and outs of each other's. We saw Holly and Connor talking about the fact that some of these players had never played with each other, but they looked like they'd known each other for years. It's nearly the opposite with Shamrock. They kind of weren't on the same page. Mid lane was kind of doing something different to everybody else. It was very, very kind of all together and not really kind of cohesive enough for them to get it. And we talked about it. Consistency is going to be key in this particular tournament, because it's not just 1 week, it's not just one game, it's a 9-week period to make it up to the top 4 on the table. And if you drop 2-3 games, you're going to find yourself struggling to get yourself up there.
Absolutely. But still, it's only one loss. They can't turn it around. Enough about them. We're going to jump into our first game.
Yeah, hopefully we will be. It was going to be St. Pat's versus Bray. Bray taking the win over Dundalk last week. And it was a very close encounter. I liked how kind of Bray brought about it. They were definitely considered a top half of the table team, pushing for playoffs. I want to know how they do against St. Pat's as well, because there were some minor mistakes. But I've got to say myself that Hawkins on the Azir in that mid lane, unbelievable. He played so well, and he has had issues in the past of consistency, but in that game he looked unbelievable. It was amazing.
You're taking the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what my focus was. And I think the thing here is that we mentioned, we expected Shamrocks to really be dominant. They didn't. Derry came out quite well. Did they win? I'm trying to remember.
Derry lost to Sligo Rovers.
Unfortunately.
Yes,
Okay,
Sligo Rovers.
Cork won, and then really the team that looks like the number 1 is Sligo Rovers. They really look great, but that leaves a lot of kind of open fields. Sure, Sligo looks a bit ahead of everyone else, but we'll have to see who drifts up.
Yeah, like St. Pat's had a fairly handy victory over Limerick last week. That's not, beat around the bush as such, but
they dominated.
Yeah,
they destroyed Limerick. It was probably the most one-sided match.
Yeah, it was not a pretty sight to watch if you're a Limerick fan, but it's up to them now. They're up against a much stronger team on the side of Bray. They need to be able to show, look, this wasn't just a one-time thing. We are consistently going to be showing up week in, week out. Bray as well have to do the same, so it's going to be an interesting test between these two sides. I really want to know exactly how the kind of the top lane matchup goes, because we are on 8.5, not 8.6. That patch was actually delayed a little bit, so we should be looking at kind of like similar metas coming out. But I want to see if, because people know it's a best of one, I want to see different picks. I want to see people kind of going, you know what, screw it, we're only going to play these guys once. Let's go for something crazy.
Exactly, and because they do have that opportunity and that element of surprise, and I guess we'll be seeing soon. Hopefully, I think we're jumping into the picks and bans and game shortly, and we'll be able to see if they're going to bring out something surprising. I'm excited for 8.6, however. There was some buffs across. Maybe we'll see Kaiser. Kane got a couple of buffs. Small buffs.
Yeah, it's little things.
He got picked last week.
That's true.
And
by Dakin.
Got played fairly well. I actually chatted to Dakin a little bit on Twitter. We had a nice back and forth. And I thought he had, he played it fairly well, knew where to kind of push the limits, and now with another buff, I wonder if he's going to bring it back again.
Dakin is an interesting character. Dakin does not believe that Sligo are the best team in this tournament, despite everybody else telling them that they are, on paper, the best team in this tournament. I think he wants to subdue the kind of hype around them, just in case they don't actually gel very well and they kind of fall apart. But he's a very, very consistent jungler. He's been very, very strong. He's got a lot of kind of like, for his young age, he is only 17, so he is still very, very young. He's still got a lot of experience behind him, and he's only going to grow as this tournament goes on. So I think he's definitely someone to watch as the kind of tournament progresses throughout the weeks.
Absolutely. And the other team I want to watch is these guys, Team 3.
Yeah.
So they did really well. And actually, I would say they possibly are the other contender for the most dominant match last week. The KDAs were pretty obscene, I think. Bot lane I think the support had 15 assists. It was pretty
in like
dominant.
a 22-minute game or 24-minute game.
Like
it was very quick.
It was pretty good. Unfortunately, that wasn't on stream, but I'm excited to kind of see how they do this week, because this is what I mean. Like we said, it's 9 weeks. 1 week loss doesn't matter, but when you start to see, okay, if the teams from last week win again, we're starting to develop a bit of a trend. And if they win again next week, then we're really starting to develop the outliers. And that's by week 4, we should have a better sense of where the bracket is split.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Team 3 as well, like Rengar's on the top side, you cannot give him carry champions. You have to ban Fiora. You have to ban Camille. Honestly, with the new Aurelia rework coming out in 2 patches, you're going to have to ban Aurelia. There's so many little things that he can play that just dominate on that top side, and it's how his team are enabled to just push and shove so quickly in these games. But like you said, 1 loss, not so bad. 2 losses, maybe we're not doing so great. 3 losses, we really need to start putting the brakes on this, and we need to change something, because like you said, once we get to week 4, we're going to actually start seeing, with 5 games left effectively for the rest of the season. 1 or 2 losses again, and you're not making playoffs.
And it's the top 4 teams going to playoffs. So playoffs are going to be played at the 3 Arena in Dublin. We're going to do semi-finals and the finals in a live tournament format. And like we've said already, we'll say it again, 20,000 euros. It's a huge prize. And then the opportunity to go to Las Vegas and go to the Esports Arena in the Luxor Hotel, which is actually opening tonight. It's the grand opening of the event. But yeah, it is, I'm here. So,
why would
this
you
is better.
Why would you
want
rather
to be in Cork?
Yeah, I was going to say, why would you not want to be in Cork?
I love it.
Like,
and
Cork's
we have a
great.
beautiful sunset. We can't see it over there,
no,
but we can. And that's what matters. And I feel really nice and fulfilled. But here we go. We're jumping into the picks and bads. Like we said, we have the St. Pat's and the Bray Wanderers. So first, ban Sejuani, Talia, and Zaya. Pretty standard. Nothing too big. Olaf taken off. So that's kind of the 2... S-tier junglers removed, so we're opening up the pool now into like the Zac, the Kha'Zix, Skarner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Skarner's the only one left up, so he would be tier S as well.
Yeah, you would put him in the S tier, and it kind of depends on what you want to do with your comp. Olaf kind of comboed with a Galio is an incredible dive comp, and it seems that like the side of Bray just do not want that on their fields. They do not want anything to really go for that, but I really want to see exactly where this kind of go as such, and where they kind of really focus in the second ban phase. A lot of teams kind of forget that there is that extra 2 bans. They're like, oh man, they only banned Camille and Zaya and Sejuani. We got this. Oh wait, they've got 2 more things to ban. I've done it so many times where I'm like, oh yeah, I get to ban more.
And it's very much about the synergy of your first 3 picks in reflection to their choices. You've got to understand, because there's no point, for example, with the Zaya. It's great, grab Rakan, but if you don't pick Zaya and they grab it, your Rakan pick suddenly drops down significantly. So there's all those things. Braum banned. Again, I understand it, I guess. I've been watching the LCS. I was talking about it last time. I wasn't sure about the first pick, Braum. I still kind of stand by it, but I do understand where people are going. What I am interested in seeing, I wonder, because obviously Skarner's been left up, and we saw in the LCS the Nocturne being brought out as a counter to Skarner. Dardoch particularly was quite into it and kind of explained it in the alt stream, the lounge stream, which was really interesting to watch, because he was just saying like the skill set, like of the what's you're able to do as Nocturne can be a real pain against Skarner. So it'd be interesting if anyone brings that up.
Yeah, absolutely. But Caitlyn going to be the first pick by Pats. And honestly, I don't know if I agree with this pick here. Caitlyn's a good A tier. I wouldn't consider S tier. Varus is up there. I would sometimes, depending on your comp, Ezreal's a little higher. So the Caitlyn priority is a bit of a weird one for me. But it does mean that Bray are going to go with the Janna and the Azir. The Azir was just so good for Bray last year. Last week even. I'm so surprised that got, true pick and ban here. Hawkins just so good on it. He was able to just completely dominate from that mid lane.
And we talked about that. We talked about how the teams really need to prepare, watch the VODs and review them and understand where the other players' strengths and weaknesses. And giving them the Azir doesn't make sense, especially for a first pick Caitlyn. What about Ryze?
Yeah.
What about Azir? And then, to be honest, on the other side, are they really that worried that Janna's going to be taken away from them?
Well, I suppose the thing is that Janna Caitlyn is an incredibly safe lane, and actually Janna Varus is even safer in my opinion, just because of the amount of damage you can put out and everything like that. So, you take away the Janna because you don't want to deal with that annoying constant push lane. The Echo into Azir traditionally is seen as a counter pick. You can chrono bake straight out of his ult, so even if you do get caught, you have got a second chance as such, and you're behind the ultimate. But the big problem I see with that is that Echo just needs to be in a side lane. He cannot be, team fighting, and that he needs to be pushing in, trying to find those 1v1 situations, and then looking to try and, maybe kind of just collapse upon one person with the jungler, which is the Zac that was locked in. But we are into the second rotations of bans. Sion taken away by Bray, so they do not want to have that in the top lane. Neither top lane are being picked. I imagine junglers will be in the pinch, though, because as we see... Actually, no, we're going to put their first ban onto the Gangplank. I was actually expecting Pats to really focus in on that jungle.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I would understand if they were going to focus on jungler or top lane. Gangplank being taken away to deny Bray, that, I get it. Bray denying Morgana and Sion. Morgana I do understand, because once again, as we were talking about, the Caitlyn can do a lot of damage but needs to be protected. Jax being taken away, this is an 8.6, so he doesn't have some of the buffs and everything,
not
the
yet.
item buffs, so I'm not sure. Again, maybe a targeted ban, but are we really that worried? But a Warwick?
It can work. On 8.6, it was one of the highest win percentage junglers. They will be locked in. It's got good lockdown.
Sorry, on 8.6?
Sorry, 8.5. Excuse me. I'm a little ahead of myself. 8.5. It is a very, very strong pick. Does similar things to Skarner in the sense of its ult as a suppression. I just feel Skarner does everything better, if that makes sense. Like, he literally can drag you.
Move the suppress.
Literally. It's like you get stunned and you get moved. You're not just stunned in one place.
Yeah.
And Skarner can move himself as well to reposition. It's a little bit thing. But Warwick's still a decent pick if it can land onto the right target. And that's going to be answered by the Maokai. So a lot of kind of, huge CC ultimates coming out here from Pats.
The other thing coming out of Warwick is his tracking ability. And against Zac? Is it going to be propped? Is it worth it?
It's an interesting, yeah.
It's Warwick. The thing here is that, Warwick is a threat. It's a kind of he has a movement speed overall on the map. When someone is below a certain HP, it creates that pressure. But against a Zac who really isn't going to be threatened by that, I feel, again, why not pick Skarner? But Tarek taken in the bottom lane. I liked both Tareks we saw last week. I thought they were very well played. Good reactions, great ultimate. So it's a very nice kind of reaction on top to the Morgana ban from Bray, who are trying to limit the protection that Caitlyn can get. Now we're looking at the finals pick, and it's an Ornn against the Maokai. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, Ornn, pretty standard tank top laner. You've got the Call of the Forge God, which is good kind of long range and short range initiation. You got a good flank coming in from him as well. You've also got the extra little kind of little bit of late game insurance with the extra damage items you can pick up, like, you know, the locket or even the IE. You can upgrade them and stuff like that. So I like the kind of, you know, composition what both teams have gone with. I think they're very similar minded. They're looking to siege, looking for those kind of big, you know, team fight ultimates with the Maokai ultimate from a side, or potentially the Ornn ultimate from a side. The big thing for me is going to be vision. It's going to be about if they can track the Warwick and the Zac. Both junglers are very, very good at just kind of jumping on you from a side, and there's nothing you can do. Can either side deal with that? That's the question.
Or take advantage of it, because it's not just about, like, on one side limiting and being aware of it, but it's also the other side knowing what they're doing. And we saw that, like, in week 1 in some of the picks that we expected more from them, and that didn't really happen. You know what? I kind of, in the weird way, like, I prefer Azir on the Bray, so I give it to them. But on the other side, I actually prefer the Zac and the Maokai.
Yeah,
Maokai,
it's a trade of power.
So really, I think it's going to come down to execution and teamwork, which is a bit of a cop-out commentary, doesn't it, always? But, it's, you know, so often we do see sometimes these lopsided pick bans, and I don't think this is that situation.
I think both teams kind of got what they wanted. I think they both definitely felt happy with that draft. They both have ways of initiating. They both have ways of kiting backwards. The Tarek ultimate, great for just stopping any kind of all-in coming out from the side of Bray. But on the other side, you've got the Janna ultimate, which can literally shove everyone out of there. So it'll be very interesting to see how both these teams really work with these two sides. But overall, not a huge difference. I suppose you could say that the Echo has a little bit more assassination ability than the Azir, but I do prefer the Azir, especially considering...
do I, without doubt. Especially with the scaling in the late game, the amount of damage. I mean, Echo is great, but diving in can be risky, especially against a Janna who can just push him out, and then a Warwick who can suppress him. You can't chrono break back if...
if you're not able to move if you're CC locked for like absolute years.
And it's quite a long lock, isn't it? Do you remember the time?
2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds, I do believe, is what it gets up to. Now, I could be wrong, so I'm sure Twitch chat will tell me if I am.
I was thinking 2.5 seconds as well, but I was less willing to risk the eye.
I know, right?
Twitch,
I'll take the hit. I'll be the scapegoat. I'll be the scapegoat.
Any hatred, send it to @BPcast. Like you guys on Twitter. I'm @Wraithwell. Love, hate. Love, hate.
Great TV series, by the way. Did you ever watch it? Irish TV series, Love, Hate. Very, very popular. It was very good.
I'll have to watch it on the way back.
Yeah.
There we go. But should be a good first match. Start the day. Who do you think? Where's your money?
Looking at the two sides and looking at how they both performed versus the opponents they were against, I've got to give it to Bray, because that Azir was just too good last week.
And the thing is, despite some of his nerfs and the shorter range, he can take over games.
Yeah, it really can.
So
like,
good.
Especially when you've got someone like, if they can get the Warwick ultimate onto the Caitlyn or onto the Echo, prime target, you lose all your damage on the side of St. Pat's. Now, it isn't the worst thing in the world, because the exact same thing can be said for Bray. Yeah. If Azir dies, they have no more damage realistically until...
Varus is pretty good.
He is, but the problem with the kind of comps that both sides have is that one of the carries, you're only dealing with two carries.
Yeah.
Everyone else is utility, and the thing is, once you lose one of those carries, you're just dependent so much on that one carry, which just has a massive target on its back. Yeah. It's basically like, okay, Caitlyn's dead, now we focus Echo. It doesn't matter about the Maokai, it doesn't matter about the Tarek, we just focus the Echo. Same thing can be said for the side of Bray. Kill the Azir, you just focus the Varus, and vice versa. So it's about these big beefy front lines, the Warwick and the Ornn on the side for Bray, and also the Zac and the Maokai on the side of St. Pat's, to keep their carries safe.
See, I think actually, talking about that, I think a big part of Warwick is really going to have to be maybe keeping his suppression for Echo. Because Caitlyn will be sitting in the back line, and it's someone that is a bit dangerous, but we need to be aware of it. But if Echo really jumps in and is able to start getting those combos off and going in and doing a lot of damage, if Warwick is able to hold on his ult, he can completely counter that. Like, just instantly suppress him and they can delete him. Whereas if he wastes it on necessarily someone else, they have less CC, and it really kind of falls down to the Ornn or Janna Tornado, kind of like, and even that's a little bit like, it's not a huge...
It's got to be reactive as such. Like, you're going to be seeing the Zac flying in, and you just got to be there straight away on the dot. But let's have a look at the Pats team very quickly. Gloob on the top side, Darkstilion in the jungle, the C-Prom in the mid lane, with Museums and Witzels on AD carry and support. Well, on the other side, we have got Bray Wanderers, who are going to be pretty happy after their first win of the week, with Moo in the top side, needs to perform better this week, did not really do great last week, definitely looking to improve. Aereo in the jungle, Hawkins in mid lane, Kevaman and Munchstealer on ADC and support.
And look at those stats. 813 on Hawkins, 0015 on Munchstealer. You have to be happy with that.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a support, that's like the perfect KDA. That is literally the perfect KDA on the side of Munchstealer.
He's one off a perfect KDA.
One.
So he missed out on 1 kill.
Sad boys.
I know.
Sad boys.
That perfect.
I think that was almost like I think that was a Hawkins 1v1 where he literally just took the kill.
Just took the
yeah,
kill.
it was like there was nothing else. Yeah.
And that's the thing. And like, this is what I mean. Is like, on the other hand, I think the nice thing about St. Pat's is that they have a lot more CC. You have Maokai, you have Tarek, you have Zac, and then you even have the Caitlyn trap. So you have a lot of things that can hold someone in place. So it's really gonna. I mean, the thing is, Bray have the skill set to actually be able to take over, but I think their team comp requires them to really execute it, whereas St. Pat's can just play a very stable game, and if they don't make too many mistakes, they can take that as a win condition.
I completely agree. Like, Pats is, like, if we're talking at the two teams being very, very similar, Pats' one is more easily executed. Like, it's definitely the comp that's kind of a lot more forgiving from missteps, from mispositions. You've got the Tarek ultimate, you've got the Maokai ultimate, all work as good disengages. You know, the Chrono Break is very forgiving, whereas on the side of Bray, they need to hit the right abilities at the right time. If Call the Force
react to St. Pat's
exactly. So that's the big thing that Bray I want to see from them here. I want to see them being reactive, but at the same time using their kind of, advantages that they can get, like with the Azir, like with the kind of, the Warwick in the jungle. He'll be able to farm up so much faster than the Zac, be able to push in a little bit harder. They need to push those advantages if they really want to come out.
The priority also in lane, and it'll be interesting to see what Hawkins does in the mid lane, how hard he's able to push his advantages, and then also what Echo does with that. Are they looking to make the roams? Because we didn't see very many mid lane roams and trying to affect the rest of the map. But there is the opportunity there. And then obviously in the top lane, which we haven't really talked about, you have Maokai. I assume they'll both be taking teleport.
Standard.
It's pretty standard, yeah. But Ornn has the ability to just sit in lane and create his own items. So, and we've seen that in other games, mainly in pro play, where the Ornn, if a Maokai makes a teleport and it doesn't pay off, the Ornn is able to really push his advantage and get that CS, get that item lead, and then slowly just snowball off not leaving.
Literally, yeah. Well, that's the kind of the big thing about Ornn, is that his passive is that he can buy literally anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter. He can just buy items. It doesn't matter at all. And that can be a really oppressive thing to be going against, especially when you're a Maokai, because if you're just sitting there while he's just pushing the wave, you've no real kill pressure. The Ornn can just keep building up items, and all of a sudden you're a 2v1 where you're only sitting on a Doran shield, but he's sitting on a Glacial Shroud. And it's like, all of a sudden it's like, oh, he is a lot tankier than I am. And that's where the mismatch can come in. Now, Maokai has his own strengths as well. He's very, very resilient. Once he gets those two items, Spirit Visage, and usually a kind of if he's going for split push, it's generally a Sunfire Cape or some kind of health/armor item, and his passive would be able to kind of to steal health and get back based on a percentage of missing can take a very long time to take him down. It just depends on how both sides really want to play that lane.
It'll also be interesting to see what Warwick builds. Now, I assume tank.
You would assume, you would assume.
That's what I'd assume. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We've seen some unexpected things last week. I didn't expect a Kayn. I didn't expect, a few things there. I didn't expect a Vigar.
Didn't expect Cork to win.
You know what? I felt bad. I felt like we've been focusing on Shamrock a little bit too much. So I was like, I'm not going to mention that. But since you did, they're actually, you know what? Shout out to Shamrock. You could tell that the loss annoyed them, but they just doubled down, and I think they were driven, and we've seen that from a few people. I think we're talking about Limerick. They lost, and they took the loss hard, but in good sportsmanship, you know, like no one has acted in an untoward way, and it's nice to see the players care enough to really want to give it the very best, and that mental fortitude going from one week to another is important. Because as Holly said outside, not everyone has played together, not everyone has the same level of experience, so it's important to see how the teams are going to work together, how they're going to get better and improve.
Well, that's it, like, as well, and at the end of the day, these guys are seeing each other week in, week out. You would hope that they would want to try and get in, you know, kind of a friendship level as such with them, and that's exactly what we've seen from a lot of them. And, you know, people meet each other for the first time, players kind of meet each other, hey, how are you, what do you play, and they're learning about each other, playing with each other, like, you know, away from the tournament, making sure they're prepared for these games. You know, a nice little kind of community has built itself up from these tournament games, and I like to see how it develops going forward, because the more time these guys have with each other, the more you would expect them to improve with each other.
No, absolutely. And it's like, even in the greater sense, we've got 50 players here, and they are seeing each other week in, week out. We're seeing them all messaging each other on the Facebook group, asking to scrim each other, and this is what we wanted from this sort of event, is that like the bonds that have already exist in the Irish League of Legends scene kind of develop even further. And then hopefully that just leads to a more and more competitive scene.
Yeah, you can only hope. But we will go back to our game at hand. We have talked a lot about the team comps and stuff like that, but I want to get your opinion. Who is actually going to win? We talked about why this team should win, why this team can lose, but who is actually going to win?
See, it's a tough one. Like, honestly, I'm with you. Bray and Hawkins on his Azir, I believe, can just take over. But the ease of which that the St. Pat's can actually win with their comp, like their win conditions are just much more straightforward, makes me think it really depends on how they show up and what level of play. And this is the thing, we've only seen them play 1 week.
Yes.
So it's not enough data for me to really know, like, how do they deal under pressure? And so it really can go either way. It's a bit of a tough one. Like, if I had to put my money, I put it on Bray. But realistically, I absolutely see how the St. Patrick's can win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the two of us are agreed that we are going to go with Bray in this one, but it is a closer match than, you know, kind of like we're giving credit. It's not going to be a stomp. I think this could be a very long, drawn-out slugfest as such, and you never know. Hawkins might be a god or it might be a flop. That's the thing. Like,
and it's also up to Echo to kind of create plays.
Yeah.
Like, he has the opportunity in his hands to kind of go in. He has the mobility and the damage, so let's see what he can make from it. And at the end of the day, on bot lane, you do have a Varus who isn't mobile, so if he's on him, it's going to be really tough to disengage unless they use the ult. You have a Janna who can peel, but is she going to be roaming? Ornn, I don't think it's going to be so much of the focus, but then, like we mentioned also, Warwick, what's he going to be building? So here we are in game, and things are just going to get started. Teams are lining up.
That deer is just going to constantly look over the match. He's just going to be looking there, kind of saying, "I'm interested in this game." You know, even the wildlife.
Last week we saw the bird.
Yeah, exactly.
This week we're seeing the deer. It's a nice little touch from our observer.
Next week we'll have David Atkinson. You know, you'll have what was our David Attenborough, not David Atkinson. I was just like wrong person completely. David Attenborough, you know, going through the rift, you know, telling us all the different wildlife.
It is the fauna flora of Summoner's Rift.
There you go. There you go.
You have little eggs there. I'm pointing at the screen because no one can see. Well, you can.
I can.
Some nice
I appreciate
dragonflies, or maybe baby dragons. Who knows?
That'd be a
Do
weird
you think
lore.
dragonflies dream of becoming dragons?
I think they're like the kind of, you know, the weird uncles, or like the dragons, the weird uncles of the dragonflies. It is kind of like, you know, you can be super successful like us. And it's just like, no.
Is that weird? I feel like that's just like the motivating mentor uncle. Not the weird one. It's like, hey, I believe in you. You can do so well. It's like, shut up.
Yeah. But I suppose if I was a bug looking at a literal, like, million times bigger lizard, I think it was a little weird.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But we are onto the rift for the first game of the week 2 of the three EStars tournament. Bray against St. Patrick's, and seeing already little bits of damage there, and Kevin Mann, he feels comfortable on this Varus, able to push it in. The Janna, of course, will have that extra little bit of kind of harassment available to her as well with the Eye of the Storm, but definitely does not want to get too close to that Caitlyn.
No, and it definitely looks like with how things are going in bot lane that Varus Janna will be getting level 2 first, based on, yep, there we go. And now they're going to be able to push that pressure onto Turek and Caitlyn. So nicely played at start. Don't think it's going to turn into too much, but at least it's a little bit of pressure, and they're starting off the game in the right way.
Yeah, it's all about kind of how these lanes go about, and realistically you're looking at, as we said, the mid lane, Cprom already putting damage onto Hawkins. This is the opportunity where he's able to kind of go toe-to-toe with the Azir. As I say that though, gonna see the Warwick come in just to deter him from pushing in that hard, but nothing else comes of it. And these are the little things we talked about. We wanted to see the Warwick going a little bit ham in the first, kind of few minutes, and that's exactly what he's done, because he needs to be able to kind of push these lanes into a much more, beneficial point for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's nice to see the trading in mid lane. They're pretty much even. CS is sitting on exactly Caitlyn's caught up. So nothing too exciting happening on the map. We do see the Zac sitting in the brush in the river on the bot side.
No ward.
And Janna and Varus are overextended.
Yeah, they are overextended. There it is.
There we go, comes in.
Lash to Sing Shot does hit, doesn't quite land the second Q. There he is, but there's a lot of damage coming back down on top of this. Trap misses. TP from the Moo coming in off the back of this. He will get stunned up immediately though. Wetzel, the only one that has to flash. There's a good bit of damage back onto Munch Stealer. And a TP wasted. Moo did this exact same thing last week, and it really did hurt the side of Bray in that early game. He's now going to be falling behind in that top side. Maokai gets so much free time up there. He's so over-aggressive with this, and I like the idea, but you don't really have the follow-up with a Janna as your support.
Yeah, and this was actually something we talked about last week, because last week they managed to turn it around and evened it out, which I said was worth it in that instance. But this time, nothing happens. He used the skill and completely missed it. I mean, it wasn't even close, so I don't know why he did that. I definitely understand, that the pressure and TPing is a harder side of things, but it's not worth it.
No, it really, really isn't. And I can understand he wants to get his bot lane ahead. He wants to make sure the Museums and Wetzel don't get in. As I say that, Hawkins burns his heal just to stay alive, and Cprom putting some big, big pressure onto this Azir. Maybe they didn't ban it because they just felt comfortable going into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if that's what they're able to do, then that's going to be great. Definitely going to take the Azir a little while to scale up. So nice start coming out of the Echo, and not there was a danger of him being bullied around, but it seems like he knows the matchup and he's able to handle. But we see a return gank from Zac.
Yeah, here we go. They're going to get the Ignite down. First blood over to Wetzel. Dark Steelion proving that if you rinse and repeat, you will eventually get the right results. And that is a big, big win now for the side of St. Pat's. They're really coming into this one now, and they're focusing that bot lane super hard.
No summoners burnt on the bot lane, so you kind of got to question that. Both summoners on both support and ADC are still up, so it's a bit of a disappointment. We see Warwick coming in now in the mid lane.
Yeah, trying to focus into this mid lane. Cprom able to kind of just back away fairly safely. Actually has to flash, didn't really trust it that he would be able to get out without burning a summoner, but stays safe.
Nice to see the aggressivity coming out of the junglers. It was interesting Zac re-ganked down bottom because the flashes weren't burnt in the first one, so conventional wisdom would say, that's alright, let's go focus and farm up. But he read the lane correctly and was able to go back and get that kill. Definitely think Kevin Man and Munch Stealer need to be a bit more reactive with their summoners.
Yeah, they have to be a little bit more respectful, I think is the word we're looking for, and not respecting the Zac could come back in, because they only had a ward in that tri-bush closer to the dragon. They didn't have anything on the river whatsoever, so they had no real kind of information as to where Dark Steelion was. But also that once you see that Zac coming in, or once you even see the bot lane getting aggressive, you need to flash away as the Varus. You have no escape. They combo the CC very, very well, and like I said, they just need to respect their opponents.
Absolutely. But gold is tied up, and that's because of the CSing on the side of Bray Wanderers. As we can see, Azir is ahead a little bit, Warwick as well. Top lane, despite the let's say poor decision making around Ornn's TP, he's still up by 5. So not a lot, but enough to kind of keep them and make up for that first blood gold.
Yeah, exactly. The kind of good, strong TPing, able to, or TPing, CSing, excuse me. I keep getting rid of all my acronyms. But keeping them in the game, keeping them relevant as such. It is going to come down to, as you see, Zach now in this mid lane, going to come down to the kind of pressure they're able to put in. Hawkins walks a little bit closer, will just dash away. Nicely done there. Doesn't have to burn anything, and he'll be totally fine.
Yeah, good reactions of Hawkins, and it's kind of keeping up to what we expected from him, which is very good Azir play.
Yeah, definitely going to be a little bit more under pressure this game than the last, and as Witzel just taking a little bit of harassment for that pink ward, but nothing too crazy. But yeah, Hawkins, I feel like he's definitely holding his own in this one. Cprom, though, he's got to feel pretty good going into this matchup. He knows the Echo does, excuse me, have a lot of kill pressure onto the Azir, and also is very safe against him. So definitely feeling like he can go toe-to-toe and, really put pressure onto Hawkins, which is kind of what St. Pat's need to do if they're going to come out with the win.
So interestingly, it looks like, yeah, Echo was given the blue, whereas Warwick took his blue. So that's going to definitely allow Echo to put a lot more pressure against the Azir in mid lane.
Yep, GG go next. Relax boy, just ruining the game for everybody. Obviously not, no, but is this something we do sometimes see, mainly because he has got the double Dorn's ring, which used to double stack onto you. It doesn't double stack anymore, just kind of gives you the extra little bit of health and ability power. So Azir, though, he's pretty good. He's got Comment. You would imagine he has Mana Flow Band in that rune set as well. He's not going to be too starved for mana. The Cprom, though, is going to be able to kind of spam a hell of a lot more. But Hawkins, you can see now, he's just playing safe. He's just keeping his soldiers, keeping the Cprom at a soldier's distance, as I like to say, and just making sure that he has no reason to kind of push up any further.
Absolutely. See how things go forward. Again, everything is tied up. Good little reactions there coming out of Hawkins.
Yeah, gets the ultimate. Cprom didn't use his, though. As I say, that dog goes in with a Chrono Break, trying to bait Hawkins in. Flash burned. I don't think Hawkins actually really needed to do that. He was pretty damn safe. Even after the Chrono Break came in, there was no extra kind of damage coming out from the Cprom, so just kind of spooked him and able to get that summoner out of him. So St. Pat's finding little advantages. Moo, like I said, he can forge items wherever he likes, and he can pick up whenever he wants. He's already got the Catalyst and the Merc Treads in his back pocket. As I say that, though, Gloob will be forced to use his ultimate. Flashes away. Relax Boy with the first ult on the Warwick. Does not hit his mark, but does burn a summoner.
Yeah, good kind of reaction from Warwick to come up then to try to pressure the Maokai, but isn't able to get anything from it. And so despite Ornn's CS advantage, we're not looking at a huge lead, and that's going to convert to very much.
Yeah, if anything, we're seeing a bit of a huge lead now, kind of, for the side of St. Pat's. I say huge. It is only 10 minutes in the game, and it is only 400 gold.
In bot lane, so we've got Echo and Zach coming down to pressure the lower tower, and it looks like they're just going to 4-man gang, push the bottom ADC and supportive Bray Wanderers off, but the creep wave has disappeared, and so I wonder if, yeah, they're just going to have to back off, so...
They can stick around for this, though. There's 4 people from both sides here. They've got a good amount of siege with the Caitlyn if they so choose. Kevinman hasn't come back yet, so he's sitting on no mana whatsoever. Has got summoners available, and they do see that the Zac is backing off. So I don't think it's going to be anything else coming out of that from the side of St. Pat's, but definitely...
I mean, good damage on the tower,
yep.
But not necessarily... I don't know if it was worth a mid lane and jungler roaming.
Well, I suppose it's that thing of the intention as such. If Kevinman and Munchstealer stay, they die. There is no if, buts, or maybes. With the amount of CC and the amount of kind of, ultimates you can use from the side of St. Pat's, there's just so much you're able to use that it's just, not a question of whether if they die, it's when they die. But respecting the fact that the Echo and the Zac were completely out of vision, respecting the fact that they didn't have mana on the Varus, they back away, and this is kind of what I wanted to see a little bit from Bray as well. They want to respect their opponents, really show that they're not going to be giving away any kind of cheap advantages, and go for those kind of big engages that we know they can go for when the time is right.
Absolutely, and it was a very respectful reactions, especially after that first gank down bot, which got St. Pat's their first blood against them, where Bray bot lane wasn't respectful, didn't burn any summoners and gave over first blood. But at the same time, when I look at it and I wonder whether best execution over kind of concept, I like what St. Pat's was thinking, but they weren't able to necessarily execute.
Yeah, talking about executing there, the Warwick ultimate does land this time on a flashless glue, but unfortunately for him, as I say that though, I'm actually going to cut myself off. Hawkins getting dove now into this mid lane, does actually get himself out though. Darkstelion not able to use the Let's Bounce to get him away. But just to go back to my last one there, Moo completely missed his ultimate. I'm not going to be able to talk about this. They're not going to allow me, as we see the Tarek ultimate coming out in reaction to the Varus Chains of Corruption. 2 ultimates burned. Nothing really gained for either side, but Jesus, it's like everyone just saw 12 minutes and there's only been 1 kill. Everyone go!
Yeah, well, I mean, Hawkins had some really good reactions there. He straight away altered the Zac and then hit heal because he knew Echo was coming in. So really good reactions on that. But the more action in mid. Bot lane, sorry.
Yeah, Museum's definitely looking like he got caught out, but Kevinman's the one who's forced to flash away. He's now got a heal left in his back pocket. Hawkins, though, might get dove. Chrono Break is available, and that's just the C-Prom straight off the back, just jumping on him. Speaking of jumping on him, Relax Boy needs to be careful. Zac is around. That could be Dragon because they have got pressure in that bot side. They may just go for first turret, rotate for that air Drake, get the extra movement speed. That's going to be first brick going over in favor of St. Pat's, and honestly, they're looking pretty damn solid.
Yeah, I gotta say, that was a really good gank out. As C-Prom jumped onto Hawkins, I was about to say Hawkins needs to be careful because he's in range of death. And yeah, credit to C-Prom for recognizing that, jumping on and kind of executing it. I think they could have gone for Dragon, but Warwick, Relax Boy, was able to pressure, and it looks like they backed off. But really good reel from Darkstelion from knowing that the Warwick was going to react to that attack in mid and try to catch the Echo, but he managed to deter it.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is kind of little things that I'm really liking from the side of St. Pat's because they're reacting a lot better, they're being proactive, and it's kind of overbearing for the side of Bray. They're not really able to kind of, you know, get the little advantages. The Warwick not being quite as fast. Yes, he's up in CS by about 20, but it's not all about that. It's about the pressure you can create in the lanes and kind of, you know, first brick going down. Massive gold for Caitlyn will get her past that 2-item spike lull. She kind of needs a lot of gold to get that IE and the static shield. So there's a lot of little small advantages we see, you know, kind of coming up in favor of the side of St. Pat's. It's, however, you know, kind of a little bit more about how long can they keep this going. As I say that though, Tarek hit by the Chain of Corruption. Witzel gonna try and just keep them away. As I say that though, ooh, Relax Boy almost actually got the prediction out. Instead of fear there onto Museums, he flashes away, but there's just so much damage now coming out from the Echo. C-Prom picks up onto the Varus. He had no flash and no heal. Gloob kills off Relax Boy, and what looked like it could have been a little bit of a pick-off ends up being total disaster for Sada Bray. St. Pat's looking strong.
Yeah, I was about to say, actually, it's not just about the Caitlyn getting to her, you know, item break, but also about denying Varus that early game spike with Winsu Rageblade. Now that they've managed to take first turret, it opens up the map a lot. They're able to rotate and try and do that. Definitely, like, good reaction again from St. Patrick's. Like, I have to say, they're playing really well together. They're rotating well, and I've got to give a lot of credit to C-Prom and Darkstelion for being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and you gotta admit, I think St. Pat's wanted to, you know, make sure that after the patron saints holiday over the weekend, they wanted to come out here and show that they are strong, just like St. Patrick, so they can get rid of the snakes out of EStars as they take on Bray. But look at the damage already down to Munch Stealer. Like, Munch Stealer just has no way of staying in this lane. He needs to try and figure out some other way of kind of affecting this kind of, you know, what's effectively just being giving Caitlyn resources, because right now Janna just isn't doing anything.
Caitlyn is sitting on 3 assists and a 25 CS advantage, give or take, yeah. 20 plus CS advantage on the St. Pat's, so that's a significant advantage. Varus is going to get a few here, and we can't forget the first turret gold, so there's really a mismatch in the bot lane. As we said on the side of Bray, you know, good comp, but harder to execute and less opportunities to kind of make mistakes. And it seems like they've been trying to force it slightly. I mean, good picks on Hawkins. Relax Boy, on the other hand, has pushed a little bit too far and has been punished.
Yeah, and focusing up on that top side, like, I talked about a little bit in the pregame about how tanky this Maokai can be. You do not want to be focusing that lane. Your ultimate is so strong if you can just suppress that one squishy target, be it the Caitlyn or the Echo. It should not be on the big massive tree god in the top lane or in the solo lane. And we actually might see another tower going down. As I say that though, actually big mistake by Museums. As I say that, he's going to try and trade it off, but he will not get it. Kevinman picking that one up there. He aggroed the turret as he got caught under by the Chain of Corruption, and that was pretty much his death sentence sealed.
Actually, the second time he's done that, so
Yeah.
he's got to definitely maybe understand exactly where that aggro limit is. Fortunately, Witzel's ultimate was also on cooldown. It just popped off at the end there, but we can see them popping
the Rift Herald, yes.
the Rift Herald, thank you very much. Rift Herald.
Shelly.
In mid,
We call her Shelly, but they do
and
get...
that's it, another turret going over to St. Pat's now. I wonder if the Braves
Two
are going
turrets.
to return on top lane, but if they don't react to this, they're going to lose their mid turret.
Yeah, they're going to see ultimates put in there. Call of the Force God ain't going to do much, unfortunately, for you, Moo. And that is going to be C-Prom just zoning out. That's an inner tier 2 turret taken out. As I say that, though, they jump back onto Hawkins, who is just not respecting the fact that Darkstelion can re-engage. Shelly's still going. Shelly is just going to keep pushing into these turrets and trying to get on top of the Moo. C-Prom has got his chrono break, so he is pretty damn safe. And while that's all been happening, Kevin Man, he's been pushed back. He's been taken really, really low, but not quite killed. That's going to be the Dragon going over the side of St. Patrick's, and Bray. Very poor decision making on their part, and really not respecting the fact that Rift Herald had been taken, tried to take that top turret without any kind of consequence, and ends up really screwing them over.
That was really not a worthwhile
Museums.
trade. Now they're trying to get Museums, who was completely overextended, definitely overstayed his welcome. But why one turret for your two mid lane turrets is not a worthwhile trade at all. Bray should have reacted quicker and coming back. And I mean, it's a losing base trade. You've lost your mid tower. They have the Rift Herald. You're not gonna win that. It's just, I'm trying to think of a way of like where it comes out in your advantage. It doesn't. Full stop.
Yeah, I think it was definitely just a lack of respect for the damage that the C-Prom has right now. He's got a Lich Bane and he's got a Proto Belt, so he's got so much just burst to be able to jump onto someone with the with the amount of kind of AP he's built up already. 3-0-1, 20 CS ahead. He is kind of the reason why they were able to make that play work so well. Relax Boy has been kind of just doing a little bit more now. He's definitely kind of picked up his game slightly, but he does need to start kind of focusing in on that Echo. You talked about it as well in the pre-game. Echo is going to be the prime target for this suppression, just to stop him from getting away.
Yeah, I gotta say, C-Prom has been playing Echo really well. It's not something I expected to see, but once again, last week I touched upon it. I said unconventional picks are fine if you can execute them. And they can. And because the teams haven't played each other very much yet, this is a real opportunity for them to bring these things out. Something unexpected, something exciting. And if they can pull it off, it definitely pays out. And C-Prom has exactly done that. Except on the other hand, Relax Boy tried to do it and is 0-1-1. So I can't really say he's had the same impact, and I'm wondering, like, what about the Skarner? Skarner, I feel like, would have been able to exert so much more control.
Yeah, let's say that though. We're seeing a gank up here. C-Prom though. Look at the amount of damage they had to put in, but that's the combination we were hoping to see. The Zero to put the Echo into a bad position, straight into the suppression from Relax Boy. Perfect synergy from there from the side of the Bray jungler and mid laner.
Absolutely, and a little bit of support. Supports need love too from Munchie, let's not ignore that. But that was a very odd ultimate coming out of Horn. I don't know if it was a misclick from Moo, but
he's caught out. We're going to see the Maokai ultimate coming into his 4-man Tarek ultimate's going to keep everybody safe, along with the Maokai ultimate rooting everyone down. Flash burned there by Museums on that Caitlyn. This is where it gets a little bit scary for the side of St. Patrick's, because they got themselves a lead. They were 100% able to do so much, but now they're kind of falling apart a little bit. There's so many ways that if executed correctly, the side of Bray can actually capitalize, and this is where Munchstealer really comes into his own. He needs to be able to try and disengage for his team. He's trying his best. Kevin Man, though, caught between a rock and a hard place, but the side of St. Pat's don't aggress further onto him. As I say that though, Zach popping back in with the let's bounce, grabs two. That's going to be 2 easy kills for Pats. They're going to keep on chasing, but they don't have anything else to go for. And that might actually be the Baron. We're seeing pings. They have good vision. There is no tier 2 in this mid lane. They might try and just go for the inhibitor.
That was a very messy fight, because Echo was still actually in base when it was started by Gloob with his kind of engagement, and then followed by Darkstelion. And Caitlyn there was actually clearing out the mid lane wave when the 3 of them were fighting. So had Bray turned around and just focused on them, they could have actually really pushed them down. But good decision here, because I was wondering if they'd go for the Baron as well. But just pushing in, knowing their strength and their ability to take this inhibitor, trying to get out. There's a lot of damage coming on Gloob. Gloob and taking him down.
Taking Gloob down. Darkstelion into the passive, but it will not be any use to him, and he goes down as well. They do get the inhibitor, so they got what they wanted, but now Baron, as I say that though, Moo looking for Witzel. He has no mana and no way out. You are going to get clapped, son. Museum's being very greedy, trying to take the red buff, but I think he's pretty damn safe. But now the C-Prom, he needs to be very careful. He needs to back away straight away. And already you can see the call right now from the side of Bray is, we need to get this Baron. We've got about 10-15 seconds before everybody starts coming up. This is what they want to go for. They've got the damage. Can they steal it though on the side of St. Patrick's? You see there, they have a ward there onto the C-Prom. He's got potential. He's got the opportunity. Actually a lot of damage as well. TP coming in off the backside. They have to disengage on the side of St. Patrick's. They're going to jump onto the C-Prom. He's able to get the chrono break back onto it, but there's the ultimate coming in from Glue. Valaxboy just about staying alive. Museums needs to be so careful as well. That is a huge swing of goal back into Bray's favor. They get themselves the Baron. They maybe have to pick themselves up another kill. C-Prom too slippery, but big plays coming out here from the side. I say that though, Darkstelion isn't finished with it just yet. There's the ultimate from Munchie. He wants to try and keep everyone healthy. There is the Let's Bounce, going to bring him back into the Museums. Caitlyn, everyone trying to go in. Tarek does pop the ultimate, but there's only onto the Darkstelion, who does pick himself up a kill. But now everyone's onto the Tarek and onto the Caitlyn. Now they're trying to get as much damage down. This is disaster for Pats, and they try and look for something that was a little bit too far out of their reach, and they get aced. Huge win for Bray.
That was immense. That was something that Bray, I thought they were in a bad position. It was a bit of a messy Baron take. C-Prom put a lot of pressure there, which was really good. But at the end of it, they pulled back, and then they were able to bait out Zach, who overextended himself. Glebe then overextended. C-Prom caught out of position, and Museum's taken down. And that was a quick ace from the side of Bray. And that was what we were talking about in the pre-game. It came down to execution. Can Bray execute on their comp? And up until now, it's been a bit shaky. But there, when it matters, they manage to do it. They get the Baron, they get the ace. And now we've got to wait and see what they can do, because the gold is even.
Yep, it's an even Stevens game, but you got to admit though, there's a lot of standing gold in favor of St. Pat's. They've got 5 turrets to 1, only 1 going down. As we see everyone now kind of pile up onto this dragon, you would imagine that will potentially be the next fight. Ultimate's coming back up for both sides. Just a little bit more time for the Jannas to be here. It is going to be a Mountain Drake, so this is actually a big one for both sides. They both want to go for it. Relaxboy doesn't quite get hit, and the rest of the team are there. We do have Kevinman in that mid lane trying to push that back out. They do start the dragon, and I don't think the side of Bray are going to fight for this. They're going to have to give this one up.
I mean, okay, as important as it is, what is Kevinman doing? Why is he getting raised? He's got Baron. Why is he not pushing mid and trying to take mid tower?
Yep, well,
like this is
you gotta take your advantages, you know? Yeah. Why Raptors aren't being taken? They need to be taken.
That farm.
Yeah.
He needs to make sure. Now you see, oh no, he's actually a few CS behind still, but that's what matters. Honestly, because like, this is what we're talking about. We're saying Bray, 1 tower at the time, that terrible trade. Now there's an opportunity. They had the Baron, but they haven't actually done anything with it.
Yeah, it's kind of been a slow one here. I imagine they're going to use most of this Baron push just to keep that mid lane, you know, kind of pushed back away from their Nexus turrets, I should say, and make sure there's no real pressure coming out from them. The waves weren't really set up for them when they got that Baron. They need to completely reset and just try and find something out of it.
If the other team is going to be taking Drake, go for it. You have mid priority.
Super minions, though. Super minions. They can deter you quite a bit. They take a while to take down. True, but
with the Gwynso and Wit's End.
That's very true. He actually has 6 kills now, so he's actually finally getting to that point where he's doing a huge amount of damage. There it is, a third item. The big 3-item spike is Wit's End into the Runan's Hurricane, excuse me. Or sorry, Gwynzoo's into Wit's End into the Runan's Hurricane. And that's where he's able to do multiple procs of that Gwynzoo's, that percentage health damage onto multiple members. And that can be huge when you're taking down the likes of a Maokai, a Tarek, and a Zac. Getting those 3 procs onto them is just massive for him. We'll have to see.
I mean, it's been good because the gold has been funneled in the right person, and there's a huge opportunity there. But Echo is still big on the other side, and we've seen what he can do. And there isn't that much MR that I can see on the other side. So they're playing, and well, at least on the damage dealers of Bray are definitely playing Glass Cannon.
Well, you got little kind of like, you know, there's no locket yet. There's no kind of, you know, AoE, keep everybody safe. They're kind of relying on Munchstealer to be pretty on point with these Janna Monsoons and Ultimates. And it's just kind of, as I said, it's down about execution. But if the Echo can get onto someone with that Lich Bane, with that Proto Belt, he's got so much burst damage, and he's able to just kind of pop, and you're done, you're dead, son. But now triple crit item finished up onto the Caitlyn. Museum's got that rapid fire cannon, got the static shiv, has the IE. As we see C-Prom, he's gone hunting. Oh, as I say, he's gone hunting. Does get caught up there, but I don't think you're going to be able to kill him off, Kevin, man.
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure
even
how
with the
I
ultimate.
feel about no, yeah, he still has the ultimate. He's able to pull out. Wonder if he's going for a death cap actually on the C-Prom.
And Bobby Guay staying so long on this needlessly large rod needs to, and then another chunk of gold to really build that up. But I would like to see a Leandry's. I think Leandry's a great item even on an Echo. I think it's just one of the best items in the game right now. As I say that though, Moo, he looks like he's getting a collapse upon. It's going to be 4 people partying in this bot side. They are going to try and trade it off with the C-Prom, but they're not really able to do much onto him. He's got so much escapes and everything. As I say that though, it actually is going to be Warwick forced the ult away, but just traded for Darkstellion's one, and now they know there's a massive party happening in this bot side. Moo and Hawkins just trying to defend this tier 2.
Definitely, we're looking for 4-man bot, and looks like Echo's going to push out the mid lane. This is very dangerous with Echo, like that Bray need to be very aware of.
Yeah, here we go though, we're going to see a nice little engage. This is what I talked about. First the flash in by Museums, there's no ultimate though onto Relax Boy, he's on the backside. We actually see the Cell Division pop there onto the Zac, now he's possibly going to be taken down. Witzel goes down, had already used his ultimate. There's a Maokai going down, double kill there for the Varus. Kevin Man still going, he's got the triple kill, can he keep going on top of this? He gets the quadra kill, will it be the Penta? They have to get on top of the Echo, but he's just so far away, he's gonna give it away. It's a pentakill for Kevin Man and Bray.
The first pentakill of the game in week 2, or of the tournament rather, in week 2 on Bray Wanderers. Definitely making a case for MVP and like showing themselves to be a very good team. That was a great play, great recognition that the Echo wasn't with the team and that they were able to jump on St. Pat's and completely start to turn this game around. They've got a 3k gold advantage, and now they're looking to take a few towers.
Absolutely massive. Now all of a sudden it was an even game. It's now about a 3,000 gold lead in favor of Bray. They pick up 1 tower. That's only their 2nd of the game, funny enough. There's their 3rd in the mid lane. So all tier 1's gone now. But Kevin Man, big thing I want to point out there is he picked up the Executioner's Calling just before that fight. The healing from the Zac, the Caitlyn, and the Maokai massively diminished, and it's such a huge item to pick up, especially just before that fight. Absolutely massive play from him, and his team just executed it perfectly.
Absolutely great itemization. They protected him, and most importantly, they dropped that ward in the brush and let him get the penta. So that's teamwork right there. Great play, really impressed by his positioning and his kiting throughout it, and able to just kind of follow up. They left the Zac, who I thought got away, but they were able to pin him down as well and convert that into 3 towers, which now gives them a 3k gold lead.
Yeah, massive gold lead. Baron is live at the Museums. Wrong place, wrong time. That is most certainly going to be the Baron, and 1-5-5 Museums. He has been very greedy with his positioning in this game, and it's very much punished Pats in this particular one against Bray.
Absolutely.
Oh, they're not going to go for it. They can base race. They can do this. Look, Echo's still top. They can just go for an inhibitor and actually push this wave all the way in. Zac's on the wrong side of this fight as well. He has to go away from this. This is actually a huge play coming out from Bray. They know they've got the damage. They can 100% win this base race against the Echo. Honestly, I don't know why Echo's topside.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what base rate? Why is Echo trying to outpush 5 people? Doesn't
with
make
a Janna
sense. It's exactly what they did before.
It's such a crazy play. He might try go for the inhibitor.
They should just keep going.
Yeah, honestly, they should. They did use the Moo's ultimate, but they are going to back away. C-Prom is going to be able to jump onto this turret now as well, but Hawkins is back. Will he be able to get it, though? That is the question. I don't think he will. They do trade 2 for 1, nearly getting that inhibitor turret. That honestly worked out for Pats quite a bit.
I'm going to try and grab Baron as well. They're definitely clearing out the wards and trying to get that vision, but the team is rotating up. We can see Janna coming up as well as Warwick, so this is going to be a chance. Is C-Prom going to be able to kill him? No, good reaction from Morgan, but not well timed. The threat is there. Hawkins needs to be really careful.
Yeah, Hawkins does flash. Oh! And nicely done. No chrono break for the C-Prom. it was two very good outplays from both the mid laners. CProm dodging out the Emperor's Divide and then immediately getting outplayed by the flash heal from Hawkins. So huge play there. Echo down, Baron up. They just need to establish vision. They can take this very quickly on the side of Bray.
Actually, he was baited in by Hawkins, who knew he was within death, but believed in himself to be able to outplay it, and he managed it. Now they're going for the Baron. Hawkins still low, but able to damage it. It is burnt through so quickly. They have it now. And now they are going to engage. They force out the Taric ultimate, but now what? They're going to reset on the map, push out the waves. Mid lane is obviously at the bait, and I wonder if those super minions are going to be able to take a tower.
Yeah, huge mid-wave priority coming in favor of Bray. They nearly get a tower off of it. They don't quite lose it, but they nearly bloody well do. And this has just kind of gone from such an amazing early game for St. Pat's. It's all of a sudden just crumbled. Hawkins on this Azir coming out big. Kevaman being massive on this Varus pick as well. Yes, he's down on CS, but he is using champions to farm as he has got 12 kills to his name. All the gold that they've accumulated has been funneled into him. They pick themselves up a Mountain Drake. It's not much use to them after they take the Baron, but it'll be very interesting to see now where they go. Looks like they're going to go for a 1-0-4 split. Ornn in that top side with the rest of the team in the bot lane. Try to get the most out of this Baron, split up the side of Pats.
Okay, it's good to see them actually do something with this Baron as opposed to the last one. But yeah, never am I going to doubt taking raids again.
No.
I mean, look
Kevaman
what happens.
Oh, as I say that, they'll have to put across his Kevaman does get caught up by the Let's Bounce. Lorax Boy is there as well. They need to try and get some kind of damage down, but there's just no real consistent damage coming out for Pat. They just haven't got anything to go up against Bray. They tried their best. There's just not a lot they can do. And honestly, this is going to be the game right here, right now. There's no way they can stop this push.
Once again, I have to point out, Hawkins so good on the Azir and recognizing what he had to do, that he isn't the hero, but are they going to be able to take out the C-Prom? No, he is able to get out. Zach looking though to re-engage. This is death. I don't know why he's doing that. It looks like he might also sacrifice C-Prom.
Yeah.
But he hasn't, but this is it, this is the game. But Hawkins, I want to bring attention to that. He understood that his role there is to protect and peel for the Varus. Varus took step back, and then Emperor's Divide came out to push Echo out and then keep Varus alive. A lot of damage coming out though, and Relaxed Boy, Hawkins are playing it close.
They're playing it close, but they did get everything they wanted on the side of Bray. And Relaxed Boy playing a little bit dangerously, but he's kind of in a position that he can. But Bray recognizes they don't want to give away too many free kills or too many free objectives. They back away, they reset themselves up into that top side, going to be able to take that last tier 2 there. Zir picking that one up there pretty damn easily. That's going to be a full reset. What a game though. It's like,
what a great game.
It's a great game especially from Bray's point of view, because they were coming back from a very like, you know, rocky start to the game. It looked like it was all Pats. They had the they had the run around of the play, and then they just lost momentum. They lost the kind of, you know, the pace of the game to themselves. Tripped over once or twice, and it just led to Bray just being able to kind of dictate how and when everyone fights.
Absolutely, and it is one of those things of like, but Bray definitely stepped up and kind of kept on being able to execute things that they're doing. But here we see C-Prom trying to jump and take out Kevaman. I wonder if he's going to be able to. Extremely weak.
But he did get the GA. Did use a Chrono Break, but it's just not enough damage there. They only have 2 members. The Let's Bounce does bring 2 people in, but it's only closer to their deaths. There's the Taric ultimate trying to come in to save anybody, but you are by yourself, Witzel. You are just not going to be able to do anything right here, right now. Another stack of kills for Keverman on this Varus, and that is most certainly going to be the game. You see Bray running it into the mid lane. They're going to be able to end. Not a lot Museums can do unless he gets about 1,000,001 different, you know, crits onto this team. He is going to try, but it's going to be for naught, as the rest of the side of Bray pushing clean ace, and the game going over to Bray. They go 2-0.
What an incredible game coming out of Bray, really making a case for themselves as one of the strongest team in the league now. And Kevaman, I mean, coming out strong. Game 1, I mean, can we call the MVP of week 2 already?
Yeah. Definitely a very strong case, but we're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be back to you guys as soon as we can.
Yeah?
Yep.
Oh, hey guys, sorry, we are live apparently, even though we're not on camera, but we're going to throw it over to our house, Connor and Holly, who are with the 2 team captains.
He doesn't want to be there, he just lost. Yeah.
I don't know how good your lip syncing is, but we were doing so well. But we're going to head over to the casters just for 2 seconds. Guys, are you there?
We absolutely are. We saw that little bit of a hiccup there. Unfortunately, it happened. But what a great game. I'm really impressed by it. I'm impressed by both teams. I think St. Pat's did a really good job, and they really impressed us. I thought they did a really good job of kind of playing the game, doing what they had to at the start. Unfortunately, they kind of lost it and gave Bray too many opportunities, and Bray really just stepped it up and were able to take advantage of that. And great play.
and St. Pat's were very much in control of that game. They had so many opportunities. They were 5 turrets to 1 ahead. Yeah. And then it just snowballed backwards. It was like watching everything kind of going absolutely crazy, and I really just wanted to see kind of, if they could pull it out and really go for the end. But it turns out, Bray, they're just too good in that late game.
Absolutely, and I think credit goes to Bray. Now they're 2-0. We saw another great game coming out of Hawkins, who recognized that he didn't have to carry. He kind of got put behind a little bit, but was able to play and do what he would need to. And in a number of team fights, that meant peeling for the Varus, so that was great to see. But St. Pat should also not feel too bad about this loss. They showed that they can hang with the best. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it's the top 4 teams going to 3 Arena in Dublin.
They're going to Vegas. They're going to Vegas.
Top 4 teams are going to the finals and the semi-finals. So if they can fix these small problems and the small executions, like they have the ideas, they just need to refine it. But to hear a little bit more about what went right and what went wrong, we're going to throw it over to our host.
Not only are you throwing over to our host, myself, and the wonderful Holly, I can now officially throw it over to Holly and the captain of the team, who is currently outright on top of the league.
Oh, it's big talk there, Connor, already. Only on week 2, we're looking ahead to the semi-finals and the finals already. Adam, captain of Bray Wanderers, how are you feeling just now?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, we're winning, as expected, so yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
Now, this one is all about the trash talk. You were at it last week as well, Adam. You're feeling so confident, but to be fair, you are backing it up with the talent. You must feel good.
Yeah, I feel really good. It's really good stomping on people like Lube, little trashers.
So, tell me about your tactics again. That was something we discussed last week about communication. This week, Kevin is on fire. A pentakill. Wow, we weren't expecting that.
Yeah, Kevin played really well this game. I think our early game was pretty poor, but based on the comp that we drafted, I think we did outscale them. So as long as we got to the late game, we were going to win it, which we did. So.
And like I say, we are talking already about the semi-finals, about the finals. Have you got your eye on the prize?
I've literally already got my wish list ready for my 4K, so.
Connor, how are you going to come back with that?
Right, St. Pat's, right. Tell me, first of all, were your tactics all wrong, right? It looked like early into it, you were focusing on taking towers. Bray stepped away from that. They got their pentakill in a completely different way. You were leading in the tower count for probably, I'd say, 70%, 75% of the game, but you never felt like you got the momentum up.
Our game plan going into it was to prioritise mid lane, because it was a winning lane, and if we got that lane ahead, then they wouldn't have gotten to the late game. Our bot lane won. We rotated and got better towers off them. We were winning for 80% of that game, and it was just one mistake just communication mistake, to be honest, that lost that game. It was a lot closer than we thought, but just moving on to next week, I don't think we have anything to worry about.
Right, well, when we look at how your tactics were, you moved forward as a unit. You kept quite close, communication was very good, and you retracted as a unit as well, but that really suited Bray, because Bray were then, when you retracted, Bray were able to attack you as a unit. Like we said, the pentakill came in, the coin count was off the charts for Bray. Deserving winners?
I don't know. I felt like we deserved the win, to be honest, for about 80% of that game. It's just it was just one of those games where it was one mistake lost the game, and I think we deserved it, but that's the result in the end of the day.
How do you bounce back from here?
We're going to win next week, guaranteed. It's the win. We're going to win next week. It's going to call it now.
Right, tell me, Holly, with Bray there as well. What are these secrets of this communication? This so-called tight communication.
The secrets of communication. Adam might be able to tell us. I mean, or can you tell us? Is it a secret?
Well, the important thing is having one person that can decide, what call is good, what call is bad. Everyone should be making calls to do things like, let's say, Baron or get wards or whatever. But there should be one voice on the team that everyone listens to. Like, if they say that's a bad idea, you don't do that idea. If it's a good idea, you do that idea. So, yeah.
I think that is, it's having a leader as such, isn't it? Someone who can kind of have that voice. And then you look at, with Kevin's abilities today, having something like that, do you have any key players like Kevin who stand out for you?
Oh, no, I think our whole team is really, really good, to be honest. Kevin's actually way better than I expected him to be. He's on Same Gaming currently in the other thing, which is a bit of a meme team, but he's actually really good. And same with Hawkins, and same with my whole team, to be honest. They're all really sick.
And if you had a message for your team, you're going to go back and have a chat now, maybe get some Lucozade, some pizza, warm up a little bit as well. What are you going to say to the guys?
Don't have such a bad early game. What are you guys doing? Come on.
Absolutely. I'm sure you've got a message as well over there too from St. Pat's.
Yeah, St. Pat's, it's a long spin to Cork. It's a long spin down here tonight. It's a lot of commitment to be here, and it didn't pay off for you. Now, there's going to be a lot of travelling right throughout the country for the 3 Ireland's EStars over the next number of weeks. How do you maintain that all that travelling, all that hard work doesn't go to waste? Because at the end of that game, that was a waste.
I feel like it wasn't really a waste. It was a learning experience for Saul, and to be honest, at the end of the day, we're all enjoying having a good time together, and the travelling it's actually a really good the feeling to have 5 friends together like that. They're pretty close. We know each other before, so even winning or losing, we're having a great time.
Captain's words. What are you saying to
them? Just cheer up. It's a undeserved loss, but you got to pick up and move on to next week.
Right, good words. Nice, I suppose, honourable words from the St. Pat's captain.
I think what's really interesting is something we're learning throughout this, only on week 2, it's the experience as well. We've all been enjoying the experience. The biggest tournament that Ireland has seen in gaming. 3's Ireland EStars. How has the experience been so far for you, Adam?
I just love the Betties. The Betties are they're perfection, really. And there's nothing better than Betties.
Well said, absolutely. And the experience with the team as well, have you been enjoying that?
Oh yeah, my team is great. I love my team. Obviously, when we're winning now, we love each other.
My team.
My team. Yeah. So, I'm really enjoying playing with my team. I think they're really great to play with, and I got really lucky in the draft phase because certain teams got pretty unlucky with the players they have. Bohemian.
Oh, he said it again. Adam, always with the trash talk again. Looking ahead to next week, then we're going to be in Sligo, obviously. What are your thoughts for that? A big trip for you. Are you feeling confident there?
I have no idea who we're playing against, but we're going to smash them.
I love it. The confidence, the sheer confidence, Connor.
Shots fired, right. Like we've said, you kind of tail between your legs, you're kind of going to go and get some captain's words to your team. If you were to bounce back next week in Sligo, like Holly just said, what team would you like to face? What team do you think you would have the ability to get on top of early, stay with them for 75% of the game like you did today, and then finish the job? Who would you go for?
To be honest, I'm not really worried about many of the teams. Today was probably going to be, we said that was probably one of the hardest games, maybe if not the hardest game, so I'll take any game next week. I'm not sure we're playing against, but I'll take any game next week.
Can you still win it?
But definitely.
Okay, Holly, we have to leave them for now.
Absolutely, I think we should let these guys go and get warmed up. I can tell you, we are in Ireland. It is not warm here at this time of the year, at this time of night. You guys go on ahead. You guys go get warmed up. Have a chat with your teams, commiserations. Oh, it's always hard to see anybody lose, isn't it?
It's
you
tough.
might know more about that than me, to be fair.
Yeah, it's tough. If you are watching on Twitch, thank you very much for tuning in. Get us on Twitter as well. Search for Ireland's EStars on Twitter as well. And we will get back to the gaming very shortly. Let's take a quick break.
Cork City completely decimating Shamrock Rovers.
We are a €20,000 prize pool with a Las Vegas trip and the semi-finals and finals in 3 Arena. It's huge.
Look at this. 2 worlds collide. The world of the presenter who has to stay outside in the cold and the world of the... Well, Nikita, explain to me, right? Give me your official title. Give me the batch of time you've been doing this and tell me how impressed you've been by those who are gaming. Not e-gaming, gaming, as you've told me, week in and week out.
That is exactly it. So I've been casting now for about 9 months to a year. Joined ELC Gaming to help them out with, and the first tournament I ever did was actually, I was doing your job. I was hosting some League of Legends. Buddy of ours, Nero, who is probably watching, who normally casts our league stuff. He was solo commentating, and I was like, that's a bit rough. And I said to Leon, the big boss, who's in the US at the moment, hopefully watching us, being very happy. I said, look, I think we can talk about League a bit. And he said, all right, I'll let you give it a go. And then that was it. I've been part of the team ever since.
Well, one of the big questions I wanted to ask you specifically now, we're one game in and we're 1 week into what Ireland has to offer. Obviously, as you will have recognised, if you are Irish watching this, and special hello if you're not Irish and you're watching this across the world, but if you are Irish, you will have noticed that Oisín sits in here. Oisín, whose name Nikita struggled with last week. So he has now got Oisín down. Or actually, I'll leave it to you. Who's your other caster?
Oisín.
Well done, you see.
There you go.
So let me know, how do you think the Irish market is? How do you think the Irish players are? And how, I suppose, impressed have you been by all the regions reflected here and also the 3 team as well?
I think what's really blown me away is the enthusiasm from everyone. I know it's a bit of a cliche. Oh, everyone loves everyone loves esports, but very few people actually will turn out and make that commitment. And here we have like over 50 players who have committed. We have our subs. They're traveling all across the country on a Wednesday night. And yes, it's for a huge prize pool. It's for a huge opportunity. But they're actually making the commitment and they're trying to be the pros that we know that they can be. And that matters a lot because that's what it is. It's a commitment. And if you're going to say you want to be the very best, then you've got to follow through, and that's been amazing. And then the backing we've had from our sponsors. 3 have been so instrumental in kind of allowing us to do all of this. And then on top of that, we have Lucozade Energy, 4-Star Pizza, and of course I have to say our guys, Peak, right over there.
See, lovely,
Great
lovely.
jerseys.
Keeps
I love it. So nice.
Well, now hold on a second. He's talking about my lovely Peak top here, right? But if you haven't noticed, right, myself and my co-host tonight, Holly, both wearing Peak tops. We are to the peak, but it was by complete accident that Oisín and Nikita are both wearing sort of denim shirts, a la a bit of a sort of late 90s throwback. But listen, they're doing very well to that. They really are genuinely kicking it. But just tell me very quickly, €20,000 and a trip to Las Vegas. From a world perspective, this game, people watching on Twitch this evening, people who've come down to Cork and Dundalk, they really are getting the biggest and indeed the best.
Absolutely, no, they really are. And like we've talked about so many times, this is the biggest event of its kind in Ireland. And that's exactly what Ireland's EStars and 3 Ireland's EStars wants to do. And ELC Gaming, who have helped put together Big Betty and everything. It's bringing esports to the people. It's about not just making esports for the pros, but actually allowing it so that the semi-pros and the amateurs are able to kind of develop and have a lifestyle.
All right, we are here. We are in Cork. It is the 3 Ireland EStars. We're with you right throughout the next couple of months, all culminating in one of the biggest e-gaming tournaments ever to be in Ireland. It's coming your way. Gaming tournaments. Gaming tournaments. It's coming your way, and more coming up very shortly.
Welcome back, everyone. I have Oisin next to me.
Yeah, I'm not
once
Connor.
Again. It's not Connor, but I really enjoyed having Connor in here. His enthusiasm is so infectious. He really loves it stuff. It's new to him and Holly, but they just love it. They love seeing everyone competing, the fun. It's awesome.
It's like that thing when you find something new that you didn't realize was a thing, and then you realize how big of a thing it was, and it's just like, oh my god, this is actually a thing. And it's awesome to see Holly and Connor kind of, really embracing it and kind of push it in, and be nice to them, guys. They're learning as best as they can. We all have jobs. Unfortunately, mine is mainly League of Legends, so we all have to dedicate time to different things, and they can't dedicate all of it to League.
I mean, this is the thing, is at the end of the day, if we want esports to scale and we want it to be sustainable, and I know this because I work as well in the business side of esports, behind the scenes. I don't just cast and host, and we need the buy-in of sponsors and people who might not know esports to the level that we do. And people like Connor and Holly, who are coming here from the UK, who work for the BBC, professional 15 years, TV personalities, go follow them. They're awesome. But it's awesome to see them be so enthusiastic into something that we are enthusiastic. I remember my first PAX. I was like, this is so amazing, and I wish I could share it with the world. And I remember my first MLG and all of that, and that's what we're getting here, and that's really nice.
Well, that's it. From its very humble roots, a good few years ago to what it is now, esports has become a global phenomenon. The success of Fortnite, you've got so many other games coming into it, and there's Fortnite. No, what? You're a very good actor, because I 100% was just like, there's no way.
Oh my god. I just need to quench my thirst.
Of course.
I'm feeling a little bit low on energy, and I feel like the Lucozade energy is really going to help me maintain a steady, enthusiastic cast throughout the evening.
That's us selling our souls done for the
evening.
You
also just spilled that all over you.
Yeah,
also, Connor, this is an Oxford cotton. It's not denim. I'll just have you know.
This is blue. I'll have you know.
There we go. That's the way it is. So, going back to games, I had a really nice, very brief kind of chat with the guys out there. A lot of respect to St. Pat's. Really, honestly, here's... I try to say to the guys, win or lose, enjoy the experience. You're playing on stage, you're getting casted, you're being streamed. Enjoy it. Enjoy the opportunity. And that's exactly what you're saying. And it was so nice to hear that enthusiasm and just genuine enjoyment for the whole competition. Or at least it seems so far.
Yeah.
I'm sure it helps to be 1-1 and to be confident. But it was really good. And at the end of the day, I said to him, they did have a really good early game. They looked like they were going to win. And I think they could have won it. It was just a few execution issues. But those are things that they can improve on. They're only 1-1. And if they can go toe-to-toe against the Braves, who are definitely looking top 2, top 3, then that's a really good sign.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing that you have to take the positives from that game, because St. Pat's looked good. They looked like they had some very good cohesion in their team. That's probably my buzzword of the entire tournament, but they had some good stuff going for them. It's just about smoothing those edges, tightening those bolts, making sure that those little small mistakes don't happen in the future games. But going toe to toe with Bray, and really giving them a proper game was a very, very good showing from them. And you can only imagine what they'd be able to do the likes against, say slightly, maybe not as kind of collected teams like the likes of Shamrock Rovers, or maybe funny enough, segue. No, but absolutely, it's kind of a thing that Cork being able to take a game off Sligo Shamrock, 2 Rovers, was absolutely massive. So they need to make sure that they don't get their heads down. Like the captain said, they need to make sure they kind of keep themselves going, keep yourselves cheery. It's only one game, like you said. There's still 7 more in the season. Just make sure you don't drop too many more.
Absolutely, but we also mentioned this, and you made the point, and he made the point, is that winning, like Cork did against one of the expected best teams, it's great because it's done then. It's over. And unfortunately, St. Pat's lost to Bray, but there aren't going to be many teams that are going to be on par with Bray. So long as they win the other 7 games, they're okay.
Yeah, that's all you have to do is just win.
That's what you have to do.
Just win.
Yeah. Be Korean, don't not be Korean. That's it.
I know, right?
The Reddit secret. But great trash talk coming out of Moo, and also great leadership. It seems very selfless, and I absolutely... So this is something that I particularly really enjoy, is the personal aspect of the game. Not so much... I love data, I love looking at it, but it's the mental aspect, it's the individuals playing that I think matters. And I really like getting into the psyche behind the game, and I love decision making. Good leaders, strong leaders, and what he was saying is it's my thoughts, is that at the end of the day, you need a shot caller. You need one person, and the team needs to believe in that person and be committed. Because you can pull back a bad call if everyone goes in. But if part of the team goes in on a good call, you can still lose it.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Teamwork, communication, Connor and Holly talked about it a little bit outside as well, and it is such a huge part of this, kind of entire thing. It's making sure that these guys feel that they're all part of the same unit, they're all part of the same call, and they're all willing to push themselves into a really, really kind of, strong position together, as in you win together or you lose together. There is no, well, he won and I won, or I lost. You either win as 5 or you lose as 5.
Absolutely, and that is it. And the way that League has been moving with the patches and the updates, it's definitely becoming more and more of a team game. But I actually heard or read an interesting kind of concept that... Oh, he's just typing in his password. It's cool, guys.
Yeah. Zoom and enhance. Zoom and
bank
enhance.
account, any of that? Is that maybe it's not so much that League has been patching the game into a team game, but that teams and knowledge of the game have become significantly better, and that's had a impact on why individuals aren't able just to carry to the same extent that they used to.
Well, it's kind of like, as you say, it's a two-pronged attack. It's mechanics along with game knowledge, and it's definitely something you need both in order to be the best at this game. You can have mechanics and still be, platinum/diamond. Yeah. You can have knowledge like me and still be silver too. It's just the way it is, unfortunately, with this game. But if you can get a team where you have got, a decent coupling of mechanically strong players and knowledgeable ones, they can come up for their shortfallings and really kind of bring the team as a massive, threat within this tournament. And especially when you look at some of the teams, you see them there talking now, they're all making sure they're all set up and stuff like that. But it's going to come down to those kind of big plays.
Liam, give us a wave.
Yeah, go on.
Give us a wave, Liam. Yeah. Look at him.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah.
Wave.
Oh, he sees us, but he doesn't actually see us.
He's looking at the camera, but he's not waving. Give us a wave.
Come on,
No, stop pointing at him. God, he's not a team player. That's it. I'll talk to him later. We'll sort that. Now we're back on Cam. But absolutely, I agree with you, and I think and that's if Moo is saying that is that it seems like he has very mechanically capable players on his team, and with his leadership, they're able to execute, and that's something that's incredibly important. I think I'm really interested in kind of like seeing how they continue to progress.
It's definitely, as I said, it's a 9-week tournament. We've harked on about that so many times, but it is so important. It's imperative to the success of your team, whether or not you sink or swim. You need to be able to adapt or die, and that is just kind of, you see them there all warming up, making sure they're all set up, ready to go, and it is just a big thing that, if you aren't able to kind of work with your team, hello everybody, if you aren't able to work with your team, or if you're not able to kind of, work on the weaknesses of your team, probably a better way to put it, then you are going to find those weaknesses becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until they're just too big to plug up.
So we discussed this last week, or we touched upon it. In my opinion, the best way for a team, at least to start, is to focus on their strength. And that means unconventional picks. If they know that they have better teamwork, or that they have a better bot lane or mid-jungler synergy, really focus on that, emphasize it, because it can carry you a long way. And then it ties into another thing. So many people underestimate the impact of solid mechanics.
Yeah.
If you can get that 10 CS a minute, that's gonna be huge.
An interesting quote that I'm going to bring from the Shamrock Rovers mid laner, Dano. It is impossible to maintain a 10 CS a minute and 50% kill participation if you want to be impactful. I doubt that is impossible, but
I'm pretty sure I've seen Jensen do it.
I was going to say, at the very top.
Hooney, Jensen, I reckon they can do it. But I agree with him. It is true. And I'm not saying you need to hold like it's a hard 10 CS, but the point is here, if you want to climb the ladder, you have all these other things and other factors, but really, are you hitting that CS every single time? Are you hitting those skill shots? Do you understand your character in and out? And it's like, and I think so many teams from here, because we have some very good players, but how they play together and some maybe potentially less good or lower ranked players, how far would they be able to go just by pure mechanics? Just by a really strong, solid foundation. And I think that can carry a lot further than people expect and think. And with a good, straightforward comp, that can go really far.
But that's the thing, like mechanically strong players, but not trying to get on anybody or to harp on about anything. But Dano on Shamrock Rovers is incredibly mechanically strong. However, it is a team game. Solo queue is a very different thing to a 5v5 matchup. If you have 5 players who are okay together versus 5 players who are great together, regardless of the skill disparity, it's still going to most likely be the 5 players who are great together at working as a team that will come up onto us. Yes, mechanics are a huge part of League of Legends, of course, but it is definitely more on the kind of, the team working together than it is the individual working to try and get the advantage.
Absolutely, and I think, so here we have Limerick on screen. Unfortunately, they lost last week, and we were talking about this, their mid laner took that hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
He really took it hard. He really wants to do well. He's loving the tournament. Such an enthusiastic guy. That's my word of the evening.
Yeah, we have one word each.
And he's loving it. He's loving the experience. He's so happy. But when he lost, he was really annoyed. He really wanted to win, and it's great to see that level of competition. That's the other matchup there. We have the Rovers against the Rovers. It'll be interesting to see. So, what do you think? Who do you think's going to win?
Rovers versus Rovers. It's Shamrock Rovers versus Sligo Rovers.
I was going to say, just keep using Rovers.
Rovers.
I think the Rovers are going to beat the Rovers.
Yeah. You cannot lose at that point in the game. But that game, I do not believe is the one we're going to be streaming. It is going to be...
Not.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's the Bohemians versus Limerick. Thank you for the graphic there. That is, nice little reminder to ourselves. So Limerick versus Bohemians. Both sides lost last week, so they're going to be looking to try and pick up that kind of form and look to try and get their first wins of the tournament. But just have a quick kind of preview / expectations from the Sligo Rovers versus the Shamrock Rovers. 2 incredibly strong teams, 2 teams looking to really kind of Sligo to push themselves further into that 2-0, and Shamrock really to try and pick up what they lost, because they need to try and start picking up wins now, because if they don't, they're going to really, really far behind. But ladies and gentlemen, that is enough about that game, because we are into our own game, Bohemians FC versus Limerick. Katarina banned away from Limerick, and unfortunately that is their mid laner is pretty much one trick. He is so good on that.
This was banned last week, and we found it a bit curious, and we've done a bit of research, clearly both of us. It turns out, yes, he is a one-trick cat. Yeah, okay, I mean, I don't know what to say about that. It's like
get him off something comfortable. Then you see the Malphite, the Kaiser now is
Kaiser ban.
available.
A Malphite must be a targeted ban. Kaiser ban is interesting. Again, we're on 8.5, not 8.6, so she hasn't received the buffs. Maybe Bohemians are just so cocky that they just believe that they can run away with it. But on the other side, Limerick, more traditional bans, Galio, Zach, and Tristana. So that makes sense. First pick, Sejuani for the Bohemians. Very strong jungler pick. And then in response, first pick, Braum again. And Caitlyn. Now, you praised the Braum pick last time. It didn't pay off. Will it this time?
I would love to say yes. Unfortunately, I'm looking at the side of Bohemians, and they've picked themselves up that incredibly strong duo of Xayah and Rakan. The extra little bits that they get for being on the same team as each other is actually pretty damn massive. It's such a huge buff. Extra distance to be able to get the Rakan out of safety, you know, extra little bits of shield, heals, extra damage. Like, there's all these little tiny little things. Like, individually, Xayah's pretty good, Rakan is pretty good, but together they're just such a monstrous bot lane. And Caitlyn Braum is good, but it's not amazing. And that's where I feel like Bohemians have definitely come out on top in terms of this draft. We actually saw that Jarvan picked up as well, and the final few bans coming in. Shen banned away by Bohemians, as well as Limerick banning away the Cassiopeia and the Vlad. Neither team has actually picked their mid laner or their top laner, so be curious to see how that one goes. But it's such a huge disparity, I feel like, in the bot side. It's going to be very difficult for Braum and Caitlyn to really kind of cement any kind of lead.
They're definitely banning around the mid lane and top lane, so it'll be interesting to see where do we go, because on the side of Limerick, at least, they have some very standard strong bans. They've picked up Ornn, so very stable top lane champ. Can't really say much more than that. Trundle as a reaction, though, is pretty good.
Yeah, Trundle, the ultimate anti-tank, has got a lot in the back, the back tank as such. Doesn't seem tanky, pops his subjugate, gets a lot of tank stats, stealing it from the likes of a Braum or an Ornn, so he's got a couple of targets to choose from. And I quite like the icy theme we're going with here. We got Ornn, who's the god of the mountain. You got Braum, you've got, you know, the Trundle and the Sejuani. You've got so many little things that can go in favour. And I like the ice theme as well. So Orianna, though, locked in for Bohemians, and this is pretty much a protect the Xayah composition right now. It's a little bit of engage. The Trundle will be able to split push, but the Orianna gives you so much utility. The Rakan keeps the Xayah safe. The Sejuani with the engage, and the Trundle just to play kind of smack with the club is going to be massive for Bows. And it looks like they're going to get the Talia on the side of Limerick.
Well, you said it. Trundle now, he's a split pusher. I don't really see who's going to hold against him.
It's a difficult one.
He said, like, because he is going to bully that one.
Yeah.
Especially if he gets a little bit ahead, that's it. Like, if Sejuani is able to secure a kill for Trundle early on, Trundle's going to run away with it. Maybe Talia can kind of hold off against him. You know, you don't want the Caitlyn on the side lane trying to wave clear and preventing the pushing in. So this is definitely going to be a tough one for Limerick. Talia coming in, interesting, and definitely can join, like Jarvan jumping in, securing someone, followed up with a Talia, could do a lot of damage. But I'm definitely leaning towards Bohemians.
Yeah, it's such a strong all-round comp. Yeah. It's got good early game, it's got good mid game, especially when you look at the Xayah's great late game as well. Trundle kind of only gets stronger in terms of his late game scaling because he's able to steal all the Ornn stats and keep himself healthy with the subjugate. I do like where Limerick tried to go with this. They've got the Talia, they've got the Ornn, they've got the Jarvan, the Caitlyn. Got a lot of siege potential, a lot of kind of semi-dive potential as well. I just think they were a little bit outdrafted, and I feel like Bohemians should be able to kind of use those small little kind of mismatches in the skill disparity as well to actually take this win. It'll be tough, but I still think Bows.
Absolutely, and like we touched on this on the last draft. The last draft I felt was much more even, whereas in this one I feel like Bohemians definitely got a bit more of a counters and picks, and their strategy is quite nicely matched up against Limerick's. I'm definitely also influenced by Limerick's performance last week, which wasn't great.
It was,
it was week one, a bit shaky. Let's see them turn it around and show us, because we expected Cork to lose.
That is very, very true.
So that's it. So, but other match, I know we definitely. I'm expecting Sligo Rovers to win, but Shamrocks have gotten a new member because unfortunately their jungler wasn't able to commit. There's some things that came up, some positive things hopefully, and he had to take a step back. But we'll have to see how things go on. But new jungler, potentially new you.
Yeah, well, we'd hope so anyway. But the Bows and kind of Bows and Limerick, we have talked about it a little bit, but Shamrock Rovers and Sligo Rovers, let's go back to it a little bit just before we go into this game as well, because both games going on at the same time. This could honestly really put Shamrock Rovers, if they do lose this one, into a really big hole. You're going 0-2 in the first 2 games. You haven't really got many. You've got a few games, but you haven't got many opportunities to come back into it. You need to be careful with how many games you're willing to drop. As we see the Limerick boys there, they're excited. You can see the mid lane. He's there kind of going like, don't be shaking the table. We got this.
No, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what Shamrock end up doing in that other game, but we'll have to wait and see what happens and what the results are. But yeah, going 0-2 is not great. But same for Limerick. It's not ideal to come 0-2, but they have been. First I'm trying to remember, who were they against in the first week?
Limerick were against St. Pat's in week 1. Was it? Yes, it was St. Pat's. Yes.
So St. Pat's are a good team, as we've just seen. Very good team, very capable team. We have to now see how they match up against others, and this is what I'm going to wait and see here. It looks like they kind of got outdrafted a little bit, but they definitely have the opportunity to turn it around. Are they able to shut down or not allow Trundle to get ahead? It's going to be tricky, but
very.
It's look, I don't want to write it off straight away, so we gotta
it's so hard. It's so
basically
hard.
You know what? We've seen other comps lose. We've seen other teams lose. So Limerick do have the opportunity to pull it out. And like we said, one loss, that's one thing. Brush it off. 2 losses, you're starting to develop a trend. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But they won the fan vote, so they have a lot of fans.
Yeah.
Viewers, give them their power.
Yeah.
Give
them your energy.
Give them love.
Be
Bet your betties.
Yeah, bet all your betties.
Bet all your betties.
I heard there's a bit of a black market. It's like cryptocurrency. You got to get in early while it's going's good. Otherwise, it'll be worth nothing. That's what it is.
I just keep the stream up whenever I cast. And I just rack in those betties. You can win some good stuff off of it. There was one guy who won
more betties.
No, he was what was it? A CS:GO tournament, and he made some really good bets and so on. There were a few upsets which he called. Maybe he bribed them, but he ended up getting a €100 Blizzard gift card.
Really?
Yeah.
Of a CS:GO game. That's interesting.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Gamers gonna game. Well, you don't. Yeah. You play one game.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Are you serious?
I used to play a lot of Gears of War 3. That was my pro game.
Good.
That was my pro game.
Gears of War 1 was amazing.
Yeah, I never actually got onto that hype train, unfortunately.
Man, you're missing out. That was so. I remember Gears of War 1. I actually lived on American time for one summer, basically, because all my friends. It was awesome. Gears of War 2 was not as good, but Gears of War 3 was really good.
Gears of War 3 was my time to shine, and that was the one game I devoted all my time to because I was getting into tournaments and I wanted to be good at it on a semi-professional way, a professional way, and unfortunately the habit of sticking with a game and not doing any other games has kind of stuck with me. So League is my current love because I like casting for it,
I love League as well. I play it, I watch it.
I do play PUBG a lot though.
Sorry?
I do play PUBG.
Okay, that's good. That's
I like
good
PUBG.
One. I'm going to try Fortnite. My brother's been playing it a lot, so because I have PUBG, I got it second month or something like that. It was so rough. Yeah. You could see nothing. But it was amazing because a month later I was like, oh my god, I can see. It's not just pixels. And so you really saw the progression of the game and everything, and that was really awesome. My brothers are playing a Fortnite. I've just picked up Siege, God of War, it's coming out. There's so many great games. I just can't help it. But it's my job.
Yeah, that is
great.
Lucky for you. I work full time in another job, so I got to travel to and from here.
Oh no! Sorry. say it's my job. I mean, commentating is watching League. I have to keep up to date.
Oh
it.
yeah, of course.
But the playing of it and the playing the other games, not so much.
That's
Especially
true,
as
that's
I'm
true.
pretty sure my boss is watching, so it's like I do not play on company time.
Yeah, of
unless
course.
you want me to.
Yeah,
Then I absolutely
it's research. It's research. That's all it is. It's just
That's
research.
what I tell my girlfriend.
Yeah. Do you have to play another game? It's like, massive tournament. I have to know what's
I
going
have to be
on.
familiar with all the chants
Yeah.
and all the roles.
Even though
So,
it's
yeah.
not changed for a very
Yeah,
long time.
Absolutely, it's really important. But yeah, so there we can see the players definitely looking like they're in a good mood. Nice guys, chatted to them. I mean, no one's a bad guy, so
Moo's a bad guy.
is he?
Nah, he's a
just got
memer. He's a
great
memer.
trash talk. I've even been messaged by some friends being like, "This guy's trash talk is on another level," and I'm like, "Yep."
Getting the messages in, just being all like, get him to trash talk everyone. We don't want
It's
anyone
awesome.
else.
Awesome.
I know.
And the confidence.
I know. On the other game, Dundalk did win, and they didn't quite. I was talking to Goose, their jungler. He was a bit disappointed that he didn't get interviewed. He wanted to trash talk as well, so he'll have to get his opportunity next week. You know, it'll have to be one of those things of he'll have to wait until he's on the stream, and if he does perform on stream, then he can do it, because otherwise he'll be back to last week where he lost.
Well, you know what? We'll figure it out. We'll definitely be getting some of the players up and stuff, and getting interviews and chats and so on, and maybe we can even get a little bit of a guest cast.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
You can swap me out.
Get Aoife.
Aoife.
Yeah, there she is on
in the
camera. We
background.
get
Look at
her to cast.
Looking cool with
Yeah.
the cap backwards, the hoodie on. No idea what we're talking
Representing.
about. I read
Yeah.
they can't hear us in there because we're not.
Of course,
obviously-
because then the
Yeah,
players could hear us.
Yeah, I was like, but it was like a mind fart. I was just like, yeah, no, of course. I was like, wave at me. It's like, no, can't hear anything.
Yeah, no, it's
no,
definitely
but there we
definitely. I wish they could hear us to like the first bit, just because they can
Yeah.
hear us talking about everything. It's just like, oh,
She
I think
thinks that, yes,
she sees us.
You, yes, you.
Sorry,
has
we,
no
we
idea.
have a camera
It's
just at the
fine.
back, and we can
They
see
can
it.
see us, so it's all right. But they can't see us. Look
Yeah.
at them Snapchatting or something. I don't know.
Probably
Look at those
Instagramming.
kids.
Let's be real. It's
Yeah,
all about
I
Instagram now. No one uses Snapchat. Not
No,
ever
he's
since.
using Snapchat. That's why it's dead.
Oh,
No, he doesn't. He uses Instagram. Anyway, here we are. We're in the game and we're paused. But so far, Limerick is holding up and doing pretty good.
yeah.
You know, even across the board.
Can't get any more even than this,
We don't get
realistically.
any more even.
But we are onto the rift. Bows are on the blue side with Limerick on the red. And you can see Limerick. I like this little play from them. They're looking to catch someone out. They're looking to try and maybe get a little bit of an early snowball, push Bows off of their, kind of comfort, setups, and really look to try and kind of, create some noise in this early game. And that's what you got to do. Like, Limerick know they're on a little bit of a back foot already as we come out of the pause. I want to know if they actually going to find anyone. I don't think anyone on the side of Bows really has to walk up any further than this.
I don't know. Like, we have obviously a nice spread on the other side, but it will be interesting to see what happens here. I don't know. We're trying to. They're putting back. It might just be a very strong pull.
The biggest pull for
Nope,
E10
everyone
ever.
is splitting up. I think they were looking and hoping for an invade or something, catching someone out, but nothing too exciting at the start. Just much more standard. We see Ornn moving up to the top lane. Yeah, be interesting. I'm kind of interested to watch top lane because I want to see what Red Panda can do against Haroon. Is he going to be able to bully him in lane and kind of get that advantage, or is it just going to sit even?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit interesting. But something I do want to talk about as well, just very, very quickly, is the Orianna actually took Minion Dematerializer into that mid lane. So I like that kind of pickup, get the early pressure down. She is not laning against Braum. They weren't in order, unfortunately, when they went in. So they have to, we'll use our own imaginations to imagine the Talia right beside her. But a mid lane Braum would be pretty fun. But the Minion Dematerializer is a nice little item, especially if you're looking to try and get jungle pressure, looking to get mid lane pressure to go for an early Drake or something like that. You push the wave, you get yourself into a position where you know the mid laner either has to give up a load of farm or just has to kind of leave the fight altogether. But already Burnsy burning a flash off of Cormico. That's a huge summoner down already, and this is the kind of thing, Khan, Zaya, they're just so strong together. He took very little damage from that trade at all.
That's huge. That cannot be overstated. Like, to just burn your flash off of that, to burn your flash is pretty big. But oh wow, I was wondering what would Trundle be doing against the Ornn, and apparently solo killing him and getting that first blood.
Yeah, we see a trade that in the bot lane now. So the Caitlyn without Summoners, Ornn without Flash. Either does Red Panda, but First Blood going up to that Trundle. We talked about it a little bit. You wanted to see what happened. That's what happens. The Trundle is decimating right now already. We're only 3 minutes into the game. That is not a good time for Ornn.
No, that isn't. And I mean, he's back in late. He's going to pick up luckily TP'd back in. So hopefully he's able to pick up that farm, not lose out too much. But it's definitely not the start he was hoping for.
Oh, E10 does find Limitless in that jungle. He's going to try and get a support. Good flash away, though, by Jarvan, recognizing that Beely Ray Dyrus was just coming up. And that's going to be, Haroon. This is not going to be a fun time for him at all, is it?
No, not at all. The thing is, once Trundle gets one kill, that's it. That's enough to set him a little bit ahead, and he should be able to kind of start taking over. It's his early game, and you don't want him getting that kill because it just sets it a little bit further, and he can start being a bit of a lane bully. Yeah, Jarvan running into Sejuani wasn't great because Sej just has kind of more of a kit.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's early game especially. The Sejuani's got so many ways of just disrupting E10's Jarvan, blowing summoners left, right, and center, as you can see on the side of Limerick. They're not feeling the, super hot right now. We talked about it a little bit in Champ Select. It was going to be a very difficult time for Limerick, but I like the idea if they wanted to see if someone was cocky enough to walk up into that bush, but I feel like if they had been a little bit more aggressive, they might have found something. I feel like in those positions you need to do kind of a lot more. But back up to this top side, you're talking about the Trundle being so big early game. It's not even just that he gets the kill, it's the fact that the Ornn gets pulled back then. He gets less time with gold, he gets less time with minions. He does need to build up those tanky stats before he becomes very relevant. As I say that though, From does get knocked up, does get taken down. Ted Blonde picking up that one, and this is not looking good for the side of Limerick. Already 2 kills down, and Bows, they are looking comfortable.
Absolutely, and I mean, Rakan by himself is not seen as that much of a power pick, but once, like we said, once they're put together, they're paired up, they just become so oppressive and so dominant, and we're seeing Ted Blonde and Burnsy really take advantage of that and kind of establish their dominance, and we're about one and a bit K already. At sub 5 minutes. Not ideal.
No, not ideal by the mildest of margins as such. Definitely a word that you could use. But this is probably going to be the standard for the game. But it's all about what Limerick can do to get back into this. What can they actually kind of use out to their advantage? They've got good global pressure with the TP and the Talia having that Weaver's Wall to be able to get into positions. They can use that to try and maybe make something work bot lane. Get that, Talia and the Rakan down. That's what they need to do. They need to try and make sure that their composition works out for them. If they're not able to use those ultimates, however, they will struggle big time into this mid game because the laning phase will just drag on and on and on, and Bows are just looking so strong in it already. Yeah,
absolutely. I think on the other side, the one advantage is that we have a Caitlyn, so she obviously scales really nicely into the late game. Talia is very strong as well, and Jarvan, once he has his level 6, does have the opportunity to just lock someone down, but Haroon with no mana at the moment in the top lane, taking a bit of harassing, getting pushed into this turret, and at least he's farming, but he is, about 10 CS behind, 15.
Yeah.
Once he gets that wave.
It's definitely not going to be a fun time. You see the Tiamat already finished up there for the Trundle. It's just so easy to push the wave under the turret, able to keep him constantly using abilities and mana, and it's just able to, able to do a huge amount for him, in that top side, just to keep that Ornn from making any kind of impact, even though he is level 6.
Absolutely, and it's like this. I mean, he's gone level 6, but what is he going to be able to do? He's 1 kill behind. He's now about 10 CS still behind. He's trying to trade a little bit, but he has absolutely no mana, and so this is starting to get a lot worrying. What we're really going to need to see is it's a mid lane jungler. That's what's going to matter. It's going to be Jarvan and Talia. What can they do, and how can they turn this around?
It's all about that pressure they can create, if they can create it. Level 6 is being hit fairly soon by most people. You see level 5s on the bot side. Burnsy does not hit the grand entrance and has to back away. You see Ted Blonde ready with that W, able to try and use so much damage if it was needed onto the Caitlyn. Use the root as well from the Blade Caller. And again, it's just constant. The big theme of this kind of game so far has been just both these, side lanes and mid lane have just been constantly pushed up, constantly up onto that kind of turret. As we see another engage, grand entrance used, just a little bit of harass. And again, just not a lot they can do. But as I say that though, we're actually going to see the Jarvan bot side, but Limitless is up the top. No mana onto the Ornn. E10 not able to catch onto the slippery Rakan, and more advantages going over the side of Bose.
I mean, I liked the idea of what was going on in the bot lane. You had Jarvan come up, but I have to say that Kabnak just kind of showed his hand too much, too early. He jumped in at level 4 aggressively. I don't know what he expected the other team to do. Kadison taking a lot of damage there.
Yeah, forced to burn his heal and the teleport, excuse me, the turret going down on the top side. 8 minutes in, and that top lane turret already gone down. First brick going over. As I say that, both flashes used. Beely Ray Dyrus not quite getting the max range on that command attack, but does burn both summoners onto Kadison. And that's going to be another, as I say that, great ultimate combo into the grand entrance. They're not able to get past the Unbreakable though. 1 or 2 auto attacks on that Caitlyn, and she was dead. So nice defense there coming out from Kabnak, and definitely something they can work on coming into this later game. But unfortunately, they do have to burn both the summoners on the Caitlyn.
Great performance from both of the supports there, actually, very impressive. But at this point, like, 1 turret already down. Another, with 3k down, it looks like bottom turret's about to be taken out. Kadison overextended, greedy, and taken out by a good roam by Limitless.
Limitless, so patient, was just sitting in that Raptor camp over the wall for such a long time, about 30-40 seconds. And I know that doesn't sound like a long time, but it is in League of Legends, especially when he wasn't farming. Able to capitalize on the fact that there were no summoners on Kadison, and he goes down pretty damn easily once that ultimate does land onto him. And that's more advantage there to the side of Bohemians. They're looking very, very strong, to be honest, to take this game very, very quickly.
Yeah, it looks like that way. But you've got to wonder, so like as this game is going on and we're kind of seeing Bohemians really step it up, are they this good? Or is Limerick just
we don't want to say it. You don't want to say it, but
is Limerick not enough of a challenge for Bohemians?
It's a little bit of both, but we will come back to it after a while. Actually, that's an interesting interaction that I never knew existed, and that is the actual Ornn getting the knock up there onto the Trundle, despite the Weaver's Wall not quite being there. 3 ultimates used, though, onto Red Panda. He's just going in ham. He's trying to trade this back as much as he possibly can. Does eventually go down. First kill of the game over to Kadison, but they do lose an Infernal Drake because of it, with another one soon to follow after that. So, yes, they do end up trading 1 for 1, but that's not what you want to be doing when you commit 3 people topside.
No, and I mean, I like the idea of the roam. That's what Talia needs to do. It needs to affect the rest of the map, but it's definitely not. It didn't work out now. A great positioning coming out of Teblon and Burnsy, but so thwarted. That's a tough word to say on stream. Thwarted by the ward.
Yeah, definitely need to be a little bit more careful if you're on the side of Limerick. You do not want to be giving any more gold. It's 4,000 gold at 10 minutes. That is very significant, and that is, you can only think it would be 8,000 or 12,000 at 10 or 20 minutes. So it's just such a huge thing for them to kind of, you know, overtake already, considering you have got the scaling, pretty much the scaling advantage on the side of Bohemians. And where do they come back into this? Where do they need to find something in order to really think they can actually get back into this game?
I think they need to use the shutdown of the Jarvan. Like, if we're looking at it, it's really about the Talia, her roams, combined with a Jarvan gank that can really can secure 1 or 2 kills. They're able to do that and then execute them a little bit better than what we saw up top. It was close, but not as good as it should have been. That's how they get back into the game. They last picked the Talia as a counter to the Orianna. I'm not sure that she is a counter to Orianna, but that's what they did. So it's really, a lot of it is on the mid lane now, and they're gonna have to figure this out. But Red Panda just taunting Haroon.
Yeah.
But at least Haroon is able to, he's now managed to farm up a bit, get his first item, and a little bit tankier.
Yeah, trying to do his best to try and just kind of keep the Ornn away from these potential team fights. To say that though, good huge chunk of damage there onto Kadison. He's going to be forced to go back. Red Panda has now joined his team, and they are just too strong at this moment and time. Now it's 5,000 gold just purely off of CS.
I mean, just look at the items there. You have a Corfiel's Hammer and a VF Sword on the side of Zaya, and a pickaxe on the side of Caitlyn.
Yeah.
It's not great.
It's not great at all, but Limerick, they can find opportunities if the side of Bows do get complacent. They can look for something. As I say that though, like Burnsy just there, not able to land the charm or the knock up. Grand entrance used, not really going to amount to anything.
I really like the attempts though. He's definitely taking that playmaking over Khan to the next level and looking to try and create these plays and opportunities using the vision control that Bohemians have and trying to create these picks. And there is basically no one that's tanky. I mean, even Orna at the moment, who's probably the tankiest member, is not so tanky that he gets caught. This looks like Midtower's going to go down.
Yeah, Rift Herald dropped already. You can see them just pushing in the wave, getting it set up. But Rifty going to be able to put that one on. And they're pretty much no contest. To say that though, Ultimate's coming down. They are going to try go for something. Cataclysm onto 3, but the Shockwave into the Sejuani Ultimate. The Weaver's Wall is good to separate, but doesn't really do much else. Rift Herald is still good. They do pick up that first turret. Flash and heal burned by Catazin. They get what they want, they lose nothing. Bo's just looking stronger and stronger the longer this game goes on. It's now a 6,000 gold lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have the Bohemians on that side. You know, they tried something. They went in. Billy Ray Dyrus got caught by the Cataclysm from E10, but there just wasn't a damage to follow up. Actually, surprisingly, he flashed out of it. I'm not even sure he needed to do that.
Yeah, it was definitely more of a respect than anything else, out of respect than anything else, but again, more and more objectives. Now that mid lane has been opened up. All tier 1 towers are down on the side of Limerick. Now they've only got their tier 2s after as the next line of defense, but that just makes you that little bit shorter lanes, those little bit longer kind of, to get vision, a little bit more dangerous to go into your jungle because you haven't got the safety of those lanes. And that's why those turrets are so key to get so early. But
so at this point, they're kind of keeping it. They're behind on farm, but only by a little bit. They need to stop exposing themselves on the side of Limerick. They need to sit back, farm up, get a few items. Definitely get Caitlyn her kind of key first 2 items at the very least, if not 3. Just turtle in a little bit, scale. Hope that Bohemians don't know how to break that, make a mistake, and you're able to then slowly creep back in. But we're 6k behind, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah, that's the big kicker right now, is that, can Limerick stall? Can they buy time for everyone on their team to really pick up their items? Like, we haven't even seen a completed item apart from the Jarvan Cinderhulk, onto the jungle enchantment. We haven't seen anything. As I say, that Burns, he splits up the fight, does get the charm down onto the Braum, but they get the stun off here now. E10 comes in, does get a Cataclysm. 3 people are in there, flashes are used. Shockwave onto 3 is pretty big though, and they are able to keep going this. If you're a Bows fan, you're pretty damn happy. Zaya with the double as 3 go down. There's going to be more and more turrets going down. Not 6,000 gold is now 8,000 gold, soon to be 9,000 gold. And honestly, they can keep pushing. They got another wave. They can go for the inhibitor at this stage, as Red Panda is just keeping Haran in this top side. He doesn't have to leave because he's not able to kill off the Ornn, nor is the Ornn able to kill off him.
And even if Ornn does leave, then Red Panda just takes the tower.
Exactly.
And I've got to say, what great play were coming out of Bohemians, because it can be very tricky for teams when they get this sort of advantage in the early game. Often they don't know what to do with it. It's very hard. You don't have Baron on the map for at least another 4 minutes. It's fine, you've got the second Drake, so there's an opportunity there. But they're actually rotating and really using the wave control, where the waves are, to put pressure on. They understand it. They're now taking the Drake, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them turn it around. But we're seeing a bit of action in the top lane.
Yeah, Red Panda getting jumped on by 4 members of the side of Limerick. They lose an Infernal Drake, and it's actually literally an exact trade for the first Infernal Drake. It's like they lose the top laner, but they gain another scaling Drake. That is definitely one you'll be taking every damn day of the week. And as I say that though, Weaver's Wall comes in, but it actually just keeps the Caitlyn away. I feel like that one was a little bit over anxious. Thought they could just cut away 1 or 2 people and to take advantage of it. But in the end, Bows just walk away unscathed from that particular engagement.
I think Limerick were going to lose that Drake regardless. Like, they could do nothing. So in that case, they did the right thing. They saw Trundle was overextended. They could catch him out. And that's a small little picks that if they keep doing, it can keep them in the game. The Drakes are important, but if they'd gone to contest, that would have been an ace in my opinion. So it's definitely small opportunities. Keep your head in the game. Take your advantages where you can get that. Play defensive, farm up. That's how they get back in. But at the moment, it's definitely not looking great.
No, and if you're a Bows, on the team of Bows, you're just getting really angry at Red Panda. You're ruining our perfect game. 2 deaths, the only 2 deaths on their team, as he goes for a little bit of a kill. I think he should actually be able to kill off the Ornn. You can see there the Ravenous Hydra completely finished off, but they aren't so tanky. I don't think that's just going to be a wet noodle fight for the rest of the game. Pretty much, there's no real threat from either side without an ignite really, or unless an assisting player comes up to try and go for it. But 17.5 minutes, just under the 18-minute mark, we're seeing a 8,000 gold lead, creeping up to 9,000 in favor of Bohemians. And it looks like they're going to go for that top side. They know they have vision superiority. And they're looking to see if they can get anything else there. They know Jarvan there with that little trinket ward is bot side. They may just look for this last tier 2.
And honestly, they have such a good buff to fight in the jungle. But oh my god, Orn gets melted. I thought we were saying he was tanky, but just deleted out there by Rakan and Orianna, who has actually just crept up 303 on the scoreline, 150 CS, which is pretty goddamn good for an 18-minute game.
Yeah, and I wanted to say he was tanky until Subjugate was popped. Also, he has no magic resistance, so Orianna, Beanie Ray Dyrus, just having that extra little bit of pen on the Sword Shoes, the flat magic on the Luton's Echo is just going to shred through them. We see a little Mexican wave actually on the bottom corner there from Bows. They're feeling good, they're feeling happy, and you can't really blame them right now because they're just in total control of this game. 10,000 gold up, and we're not even at 20 minutes.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going for the fastest win so far. And I wonder, like,
they need to do it within the next minute. It has to be within the next minute.
Yeah.
So
what did we have? What lost?
I think it was
22.
22.
Yeah, 22.
22,
so they
I think
have
it
a little
is.
bit long. They have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
There we go. So this is what we're gonna have to wait and see. But
Come on,
at this
Bows.
point, this is pretty dominant performance coming out of the Bohemians.
Yeah, it's incredibly impressive to see. And Oren.
So this is what I was trying to say earlier, is that they have such a good team comp to fight in the jungle.
Yeah.
And you do not want to go in. If Rakan is able to get you, once, Zaya's feathers, you have Orianna, it's just so many things that in those confined corridors of the jungle can just dominate. And then, of course, that's without even taking into account Sejuani.
Yeah. It's such a good, as I said, the confined corridors, you get massive AoE down with the Orianna, with the Trundle able to put down the ice, the ice field to be able to auto-attack more. And they're just waiting in that bush. But it's such a strange play to do when you're this far ahead. But I suppose with Baron spawning up in 5 seconds, that's going to be the next port of call for Bows. And they've got to get that. If they want to get the fastest game in the EStars, tournament so far, they've got to get that, and then they've got to pretty much just barrel it down mid.
I think the problem here is that it's what I said. It's like they have mid priority. Trundle is pushing up, but where do you go? There are no more turrets apart from the base starts on the side of Limerick. Where do you go? Baron hasn't spawned. It is one of those situations where you've just got to be patient. Don't over push. Don't expose yourself. Trundle's pushing up nicely. They're putting a bit of pressure in the mid lane. That has to be focused. And if it isn't, but E10 looks like he might be caught out here.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's been caught. And there's a great shockwave on the backside with another fantastic combination with the Blade Caller. And that's going to be 2 going down. 1 for the AD carry and 1 for the mid laner. Limitless going to let the Sunfire Bami Cinder on his jungle item pick up that kill. As Red Panda just been pushing into this lane as fast as he possibly can. There's nothing he can do. Subjugate has been dropped, so there's going to be now the call of the Fourth God coming in. Katazan trying to do something as well. Missing the rebound on that as well. There's the inhibitor going down in the mid lane, but lane's all pushing in favor. This could be it for the side of Limerick. They haven't really got much else to go on. Honestly, right now, if you're on the side of Bows, you're just going for the win right now.
I've got to say that Tedlon then managed to take off half the health off of both of those. I think it was it Braum?
Braum and Caitlyn, yeah.
Yeah, just off of his ultimate. It was obscene.
Yeah, absolutely
they're
massive.
backing off there. And this is something Bohemians have done really well throughout the whole game. Despite their advantage, they've been very good at not overexposing, at disengaging, respect flashing. There were a number of times where Ted Blood was in a position where he could have played it a bit risky, but instead he just safely flashed back out and then kited back in to get the kills. And it's a really good, clean play coming out of the Bohemians. And if I was their opponents in the future, I'd be watching this and I'd be a little bit worried because there aren't too many holes in their play.
Not too many holes, but again, unfortunately we have to bring it up as of the caliber of players they will be looking to go up against. Limerick definitely struggling in the draft. They're struggling now. They've got a lot of different things that if they're even to have a chance of making playoffs, they've got to fix very, very quickly. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to come out with a W in this particular game as Bows just continue to dominate with triple Infernal. The RNG gods smile upon Bohemians and say, you deserve the triple Infernal. That is an added 12% of AD and AP, which means that Beely Ray Dyrus, Red Panda, and Ted Blonde are even stronger with the current item set. Like, they're pretty strong, but they're adding that extra 12%, and oh, this could just be the end of the game right here, right now. 2 kills there, going down. Great combination of the ultimate knockup again by Burnsy. There is going to be the ultimate coming out from the Zayed. That's the Blade Caller coming back, and that is 3 for none. Nobody really left to defend, and you can see Caitlyn still just trotting back to this win, and there's going to be a flash engage, and it's going to be a kid. Teblon with a delayed triple kill will potentially be able to get the quadra kill. Teblon goes down though, and that's going to be the 3rd kill, only going to Limerick. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be our 2nd game of the day, going over to Bohemians in extremely convincing fashion.
I mean, dominant. Completely dominant. Huge performance out of everyone on the team. They must be very happy with that. Unfortunately, not the fastest game, but triple Infernal. I mean, you kind of dream of that.
Yeah, it's the thing that you kind of wake up to in solo queue, and you know you're doing well, and it's just like, oh, Infernal, another Infernal. It's just the best thing to have, especially when you're
so many kills.
Yeah,
I mean, it's how I feel when I play against bots.
Yeah, I know, right? Gotta practice somehow. You gotta practice. You just gotta practice.
Unfortunately, rough game for Limerick. I know they took the loss last time. They took it hard, but I hope they're just enjoying the experience. But that's tough. I feel for them. It's definitely not ideal situation. But on the other side, we're definitely starting to see one kind of like set of teams, or like a set of teams that are starting to drift ahead. I'm very interested and excited to see Cork now. How are they going to come out? Because they're matching up against
Team 3.
Team 3. So Cork and Team 3 both won last week. Team 3 looked very strong as well. Cork looked really good as well. So it'd be really interesting to see how they do. But on the other hand, we have Bohemians coming out really strong. I wonder, like, final matchup?
A final matchup, Cork City versus Team 3, and it's just kind of... It's definitely going to be a lot more interesting than, say, that game there. That one's a little bit of a snowball.
That was interesting. Let's be honest. It was entertaining.
Entertaining, definitely more so than interesting. But, we also saw our other game there. The players are still playing, so it's Rovers versus Rovers, and it's definitely kind of, a little bit disheartening for Limerick. They got to try and pick themselves up. It is only 2 losses. They have played against 2 relatively, strong teams so far in the tournament. They need to pick themselves up. They need to try and just kind of go, okay, put them behind us, forget about them. It never happened. We're on 0-0 at the moment. That's what they need to do,
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's exactly what they need to do. And it looks like they're having that kind of team meeting, and they're smiling, which is good, a few jokes, and keeping that positive is really important. I think what they need to do is they kind of take from this. Look, they faced 2 fairly strong opponents. I know we're not sure of where Bohemians exactly sit, but they seem pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up in the coming weeks, and are they able to kind of turn this around? Because there are other teams that they can take games off of.
Absolutely, and it is. I think the longer this tournament goes on, the more we're going to see the importance of pocket strategies, small little things like, when you're going up against a big team like Bose or say Sligo or anything like that, you need to be able to just try and throw a spanner into works. Try and just make sure that you're giving them as little comfort as possible, because if you play standard against these guys, you're just going to lose. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. And that's there is, like we talk about the skill discrepancy between the 2 teams, but you see them there, shaking hands, good sportsmanship there, saying, good game and everything like that. They're all still smiling and stuff like that. But Limerick, they've got to push forward. They've got to forget about that game and move on with the next one.
Absolutely, and I think the thing is here is that you mentioned it. We talked about it last week. Is that really important that you play your style? And it's something I said last week, I said this week. You said if they play the meta and if they play traditional, it might not be to their advantage. So play what they're comfortable on. And we saw Cork get a win last week because they chose unusual picks and it worked out really well for them. This is what I think some of the teams need to do. Potentially also just embrace the chaos, because chaos can really be the great equalizer. But I think that's going to wrap it up, at least after this game for now for us. And we're going to throw it over to the hosts, Connor and Holly, with the captains.
There we go.
Now, so far, whenever you've thrown over to the captains here and myself and Holly, it's been tight. There's been, I don't know, 2, potentially 3,000 gold in it. There's been a couple of towers difference. Yeah, things took a nasty turn, and because Holly is very good friends with the Limerick captain, it's only fair that I let you start.
No, but we go way back. We go way back to Dundalk.
Very first game.
I would say there were better times. They were not better times, and things haven't got much better. What happened?
Their bot lane was significantly better than ours.
I mean, we talked last week about improvement. There was a bit of a hammering went on again last week. And yet again, I mean, it was difficult to watch at times, to be honest with you.
Oh, I know. Our team may not perform very well, but like we're trying to improve it. Our jungler does not have the best of schedules. He works in the afternoons, so practice is hard.
Well, this is something we talked about as well, isn't it? It's very hard when all these guys have come together. You know, they haven't known each other from different walks of life, trying to get together to kind of train and work towards this tournament. Were there any aspects of your game that you have worked on that you think that you've improved on at least? Any positives we can take away from this?
Yeah, we're improving our communication every time. Like we're getting better and better. We can rotate now better a bit.
So let's look ahead to next week. I don't want to be standing here again with you next week. No, Norbert, that's not happening. What are you going to work on for next week?
Definitely our picks. We need to iron out the bad ones and then make them better. It's like we just get crushed at the start.
Oh, honestly. Well, Connor, I'm going to leave you to talk to the triumphant team this time.
Yeah, you can boo all you want. You're absolutely you get your backside handed to you.
I'll be the meme. I'll be the cocky meme that will always lose.
Okay, all right. Emmett from Bose, listen, there's a win in this game. There have been wins in this game over the last couple of weeks, but yours has been the most resounding. I think it was the second quickest. Say that again.
We could have ended it quicker, but we kind of had a bit of fun towards the end.
I think our friends at Casters knew that. I think in the middle of the game they were going, go on, they're having a go at this.
We even did a Mexican wave. I don't know if anyone saw that, but yeah, we had fun.
The rest of the game was every single one of your colleagues and indeed all the other teams represented are tucked in behind, and it was beautifully watched because they were watching you just go, oh, this is going to be a quick one. So tell me, the vast difference in the goal, let's just start off with that. I think you were 16,000 ahead.
I just think all our lanes won pretty hard. Especially mid lane I did win. I mean,
he's still trash talking. He's trash talking. He's still.
I said this to him earlier. You can't trash talk if you lose. It's just stupid. But anyway, our top lane just kind of dominated really early. He got I think 2 solo kills, and then after that he was just constantly pushing. So that kind of let us, the rest of our team, just kind of move everywhere else on the map.
Towers wise, I think the last time I looked it was 10-0.
Yeah, we didn't lose the tower. I don't think.
How did you do that?
I don't know. We just played really well. Like we've been practicing a lot together after our last loss. That was a really close one as well. But I think our synergy is a lot better now. Our pick ban is slightly better than it was. It was pretty good before, so I just think overall we just did very, very good.
That's the thing. Well, don't ever admit that you don't know. Say, yeah, it was all the tactics. That was what we planned all along.
Just one thing very quickly is something we talked about, Holly and I talked about earlier on, was communication and how important that has been, because a lot of these are put together from people you don't know and areas you don't know, and you start to become part of a team. You're Bose. How important was the communication for you? And I suppose we'll ask how important was the lack of communication?
It's actually quite good. So there is a couple of members, I won't say who, Ted, who don't really talk that much. You kind of have to push them to speak. But in that game there, he was really open and talking, so that was good.
Well, Norbert, you and I, we're going to go off now. We're going to have a chat to your team. We're going to think about next week, and we're going to come back triumphant. Yes?
Definitely.
Brilliant. All right, I think it's time to go now to commercials.
Go on.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but like
Anyway, back, ladies and gentlemen, we are here commentating over the Sligo Rovers versus Shamrock Rovers game coming up now. We can actually see Shamrock Rovers actually having a pretty damn good time. They've got themselves 9 kills, 2 Mountain Drakes and 5 turrets versus the 1 lone kill on the side of Sligo. And Sligo, this is not what we expected from them.
no, absolutely not. Like, I mean, we're jumping into this game because it's taking a bit longer. The other game was so fast-paced, and while the final game of the day does set up, we'll be kind of focusing on this for a little bit. But yeah, it's great to see Shamrock Rovers doing quite well. Expected Sligo to definitely be a bit better, but some great champions on the side, like really good team comp. As we can see in the top lane, we have come on, Swain, there we go. I was like Sion, and I was like, no. They have Swain, Sejuani, Galio, Cogmore, and Tom Kench in the bot lane. So really strong comp, very good scaling comp. Malphite on the other side, something I didn't really expect. Olaf, very good champ. Then we have Corky in the mid lane. Jin, who's been seeing some popularity in at least the North American LCS, and Tarek in the bot lane. This actually seems like quite a stomp as well, because we're looking at 2 Mountain Drakes on the side of Shamrock Rovers and about a 8k advantage, 7.5.
Yeah, we see a lot of skirmishing going on, a lot of big ultimates burned as Razor just trying to make many moves as he possibly can into this one. We see full auto tank coming in with the Swain. He's 3-0-0. He's actually having a fantastic game himself. So great all-around team fight. But you can see the Dr. Yeti with 4-0-3. He has had such an impact for this team already, and definitely looking to try and increase it more as the next Drake is spawning. It is going to be a 3rd Mountain Drake, which is almost going to be certainly Mountain Drake into the Baron, and that's just the kind of, you know, thing that you just don't want to see if you're on the side of Sligo.
I mean, RNG gods are being very kind to the 2 teams that are winning their matches. Triple Infernal, Triple Mountain. I'm not so sure you want 4 kills on Dr. Yeti. That's not exactly ideal. I can accept kind of 1, but at a certain point you kind of need to think about, like, okay, are you putting it in the right spot? Great kind of flash for Galio coming in.
Yeah, Galio coming in with the heroic entrance. They're going to be able to stun up Blue Bullberry a little bit. He will get the blast cone to near safety, but not complete. And Dr. Yeti with another kill. That's his 5th of the game. Zoinkers, though, that is going to be Dano. Gonna flash in, get the taunt down onto Devil's Jin. That's a double kill for Dr. Yeti. He does not care. He wants all the kills. And then you can see full auto tank. He's just trying to get Kexius, trying to do a little bit more, but he's in a little bit of a no man's land. No one in his team really here. He does have the Zonyas. Nicely done there by him. Able to use his ultimate to keep himself alive. And he'll be able to pop that to clear the wave. But the side of Shamrock Rovers are pushing in towards this top side. They want that inhibitor turret. 2 people dead, especially with the Tarek being dead. You can imagine this will be short work, especially with that triple Mountain Drake.
Nice little TP coming in to protect the minions, so that's it. Top tower taken down. Full auto tank, I mean, it shows a lot when you can just pop your ult in Zonias, and then Sejuani comes around the corner, the whole team runs away. Top inhibitor is gone. Malphite trying to do something, but great flash out by Adzi. That was it.
Yeah, this is going to be the big team fight that just goes in favor of Shamrock Rovers and might actually be the game. Olaf and Malphite, the 2 tanks are down. And the rest of the team are trying to engage on this. Very low mana bars, though, on the side of Shamrock Rovers. Sligo just trying to keep it going. Blue Bullberry, though, Adzi picking himself up, only his 2nd kill of the game. And now they're on to Nexus turrets, but the Jin has been caught again. He has to go forward, otherwise he gets caught out. And full auto tank picks up that one. That Swain being so huge for him. And that's going to be another inhibitor going down in favor of Shamrock Rovers. They will not be able to end the game just yet, but we're actually seeing a more dominant game. As I say that, though, Corky gets caught. Dragon Ship goes down 0-3.
I mean, at this point, they're actually just extending the game. They absolutely could have. You only have Malphite who just come up. Dakin had just come back on the Olaf, so they could have definitely finished that off. And they're going to take the Baron? No, they're also going to back off. So maybe extending the game a little bit further than needed, but really dominant performance coming out of Shamrock. And I guess Razor coming in is the magic piece that they needed to just shake off the loss last week and come into this one.
Yeah, and I'm loving Dr. Yeti right now. He is so far ahead. He has the most kills, most kill participation. He's just done so much on this Tam Kench. If this is going to be an indication to any other team, it is do not let Yeti have that Tam Kench. And Adzi definitely playing a little bit better this time round. Last week he was 100% in a little bit of a tilted situation and did not have the kind of impact that he is having on this one. But now with the Kog'Maw, has the Gwynzoo's Raid Blade, the Wit's End, the Bork has so much shred ability to be able to bring down the Olaf and the Malphite so quickly. And you can see now they're just going to keep zoning off of this this Baron, take out all the vision, set up standard, and it's a 31-minute game, but you imagine it won't be for much longer.
I mean, they've got 12k up on the Sligo Rovers, so it's just that this is not a matter of if, but when. Really, but we're looking at it, like you said, maybe the trick to the bot lane is that they start to tilt because Dr. Yeti wasn't getting all the kills.
Yeah, he's the actual carry.
There we go. But it says something, I mean, there's a bit of a worry that all the kills are going to Dr. Yeti. Ragnarok being forced out by Dak in that, so not great. But, okay, yeah, so it is good, like okay, so they're winning. It's a shame all the kills are on Dr. Yeti because it's not very efficient. But if they're able to do this against what you and I were calling the best team, what does that say?
I know, it's absolutely massive for the side of Shamrock Rovers. This new jungler definitely breathing in new life into them. Is Dan going to find Dakin? Former teammates in the Irish scene now forced against each other. As you see now, there is Corky going in, but he's just going to get him completely obliterated. He had to try something as his team was just falling further and further behind. Baron goes down. There is the Olaf following with him, and that is most likely going to be the game. They're pinging on the Nexus. They're pinging on the end, and this has just been, even just for the few minutes that we've seen, a dominating performance coming out from Shamrock Rovers.
Absolutely. There were some questions about Razor. I think he hasn't played in a little while, or maybe he's been playing in secret and practicing everything.
Don't tell no
Don't tell anyone. But clearly, very dominant performance. Great performance out of him, enabling the team and unlocking the full potential of the Shamrock Rovers. Two dominant games back to back, but God, 3 must be shaking in their boots because they're about to face Cork, and Cork beat Shamrock Rovers.
There you go.
So,
therefore, Cork won 3 EStars. That's just how it is. Yeah,
that's how mathematical. Like that's it.
The numbers
Great
don't lie.
performance coming out of Shamrock. I think they were fired up. They could hear our commentary early on where we were taking the mick a little bit and talking about it. But really great performance it seems, and so it'll be exciting to see. So now they're sitting at 1-1, really strong. Scoreline is great coming out of the new jungler. They must be hyped and excited about the coming weeks.
Yeah, we're going to have to send it over to our 2 lovely hosts at the end of that game.
Hold on. 2 has now become 3. Our good friend Alistair here, he loves a good hammering, so he does.
Oh, he's been known to. Anyway, yeah, we've become very well acquainted over the past couple of weeks, Alistair and I. He's actually not as scary as he looks, I can tell you that much. But here, Connor, those last 2 games, what about them?
Complete hammerings, right? This is the thing that last week there was a few underdogs created in, I suppose, the way in which Shamrock Rovers, they would have been favourites. They were defeated last week and they became like an underdog. Dundalk, they were defeated last week after being a favourite. They would have become an underdog. And this week, having, I suppose, spoken big words after both their battles, they were going to come back, and they were going to come back strong. And my word, how Shamrock Rovers specifically just now came back strong.
Oh, just incredible. You know, we were over watching it on the screens over there. We were obviously streaming this live across the world. People were torn. They didn't know which game to watch. See, trying to watch 2 at the one time, it is not easy. Oshin and Nikita, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, from a geographical point of view, I suppose a very impressive and indeed a very forthright evening for the people of Dublin. If you are watching in Dublin, good evening to you, from the reason that Bows winning very well. Shamrock Rovers even for quite a while against Sligo, but then pulling away towards the end. So geographically, Dublin well represented, but the big one coming up in the next wee while, Holly, because last week we had a bit of a rib at the 3 team, because the 3 team, we said, well, they're obviously going to be well looked after because they are in essence the sponsor.
Oh, we're not suggesting by any stretch that they're being given special treatment or anything like that, but I can tell you what, 3 are good. They are definitely one of the teams to watch. But Cork as well, and they're on home turf, so that is going to be a close match, I reckon.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the big battle today. 3 against Cork. I know we're only sort of 2 days in before we head towards the €20,000 prize and the trip to Las Vegas. But this one, I suppose this is the first time we have seen 2 of the big teams, and specifically Cork at home now as well. And they had a lot of strength finishing last week.
Absolutely, and talking to some of the guys today, they seem to be feeling confident. They've got the home crowd with them. People are getting very excited just across the way there, and we're getting a lot of attention from across the world, as well as we stream live from Cork in Ireland. So please do keep giving us your comments and your support. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, if you have just tuned into Twitch, good evening. I'm Connor Phillips. This is Holly Hamilton, and we're with you for the next wee while as we bring you
and
the
this is
final
Alistair.
game.
Don't leave it, Alistair.
This is Alistair, not to forget Alistair. To bring you the final game of this evening's 3 Ireland EStars event for tonight at least. We'll be back with you next Wednesday as well. We're off to Sligo next Wednesday. Then we're going to Bray. Then we have a few Dublin clubs to visit as well. You can tune in every single Wednesday evening. You can also give us a follow on Twitter as well. Hello to Twitch. Keep your messages and your comments coming in as well. We'd love to hear from you, what you're enjoying, what you're not enjoying, and also thanks to our friends at Lucas 8 and 4-Star Pizza for keeping me fed and watered.
We don't want to hear what you're not enjoying. Just tell us all the good stuff. Absolutely. I mean, I'm already thinking about the final. Are you?
I don't know. Yes and no, right? Because
it's going to be massive. I think this is what we need to get people to realise. I mean, this is huge. This is going to be in the 3 Arena in Dublin. It's going to be streamed right across the world. This is the biggest tournament of its kind in Ireland, sponsored by 3. You're going to want to be there. You are going to want to be there. But I'm one of those people who likes to go, okay, yes, let me get my tickets, let me get it organised, let me go and see it, and just watch how it evolves over the next 5 or 6 weeks. Because from, I suppose, a sports fan, because we are here close to the home of Cork City. Last week we were in the home of Dundalk FC. You don't like to get overly, I suppose, involved in one particular team too early. Since when?
Since watching these guys, since watching 3, since watching Cork, and they have to go toe-to-toe together this evening, and I can't pick a winner.
That is not what happens, though. You can already see online people talking about their favourites. You know what? Even despite a couple of dodgy performances over the last couple of weeks, the support for Limerick has been incredible. Bows as well, if you've watched them on Twitter, did you see their warm-up routine?
Was that the press-ups?
It was the press-ups. They did press-ups before they played a match. Maybe that is the secret. Who knows? Give it a go.
Now, there is a chance that you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, well, I could do that. I'm better than them. I would love to give them some advice. Use the medium of Twitter. We have our Facebook page there as well. You can leave it on this Twitch page here, the ELC Esport Live Competitions Twitch feed. And just let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know your favourite team so far. Let us know your favourite captains as well, because, well, your captain is clearly the Limerick captain.
Oh, he's mine, is he?
Well, for some reason, whenever we get to do the post-game interview, she goes, oh, no, I'll speak to Norbert again. I want to speak to Limerick. That's 2 out of 2 bad defeats.
I think they've just got such a huge fan support. They're such a great team, such a great club.
They're horrible. They're bad. They keep losing.
They just keep losing, though. I am notoriously bad for backing the wrong horse, though, I'll be honest.
No horses here. Cheltenham was last week. This is all about gamers.
I didn't win then either, to be honest with you.
I know, very true, very true. So keep your comments coming in. Coming up in a second, like we said, our friends at 3. Now, 3 of the sponsors of this. Let me just make this very clear, right? So what we did is we had 10 teams, 9 teams represented by the various League of Ireland clubs across Ireland, geographically, giving it a good spread. And our friends at 3 said, listen, we will sponsor a team. Now, just because they're sponsoring a team does not mean that they get any extra incentive, any extra help, or indeed, I suppose, any extra favouritism. They're here as a team in their own right. I can see them over the cameraman's shoulder, and it is it's beaming attention eyes.
They are absolutely in the zone. Can you see it? They are tense. They are ready to go. Cork, we've got them set up at the other side of the room. They're making eyes at each other. It's very tense in here. Can almost taste it. Do us a wee favour, if you can just zoom in to the very top there, right? The Cork captain with the hat on. The young red-headed gentleman, right? And we're not going to disturb him. We're not going to go over and talk to him because this is starting very, very quick indeed. He says to me, and he said to you as well last week, Holly, the secret of this is in that hat. The secret of everything, the secret of Cork's success is in that hat. What I don't get is just how the headphones operate around the hat. But it works. It works. Works for them. And he's a big trash talker as well. Here, it might catch on. Next week, I might get a hat. Who knows? Don't get a hat.
Don't get a hat. She did actually genuinely threaten to get a hat this week.
And why not? And why not?
And then she recognised that she didn't want to wreck her pretty hair. That's actually genuinely true story.
Lies. It's all lies.
Genuine true
Don't
story.
believe a word of
But
it. It's only him who worries about his hair.
coming up very shortly, it is going to be the three sponsored side against the home team, as we are in Curraheen Park here in Cork. It is Cork City against 3. How do you see the game going? Who do you think will take the lead? Who do you think can get the dominance in this?
We've said it a few times. 3 are very strong. They've had a strong performance, always from the get-go as well. But Cork, it's the home ground. It's the home crowd. You know the difference that makes.
Yes, it is the home crowd. It is the home ground. It is going to be finalised in the 3 arena come May time. Get yourself on to EStars.pro for more of that. And let's take a quick break before we head over to tonight's casters.
I'm going to do some push-ups.
Go and do some push. Put a hat on you.
Okay, ready?
Put a hat
Go,
on you.
go.
Put a hat on you. Put a hat on you.
Welcome back, guys. It's the final match of the day. Cork versus 3.
It's definitely going to be a hype match. I
Yeah.
want to see Cork really come out on top of this, like not on top, but like really come out and show that they're not just a one-trick pony or a one-time fling. They really want to, commit themselves to that top half of the table. Team 3, again, another, technically undefeated team as such, if you want to call it that, after one game. They also need to kind of, prove that they deserve to be at the top half. This honestly could be a battle between, say, 3rd or 4th or even 5th place, getting to the 3 arena and not getting to it.
Yeah, absolutely. When we're looking at it, this is something that's got to differentiate. I'm excited to see both teams. It's not just Cork. I want to see if Cork can replicate what they had last week, and I want to see if 3 is able to be as dominant as they were previously, and that'll be exciting to kind of see up. I definitely think it's going to be a good match, more even matchup than perhaps the last 2. But I mean, like, really good showing from Shamrock Rovers. Great to see them able to put aside the loss last week, learn from it, and step up and kind of really dominate Sligo Rovers, who we expected a lot more from.
Yeah, definitely something that we kind of needed to, a little bit more talk about, a little bit more. Like, Shamrock Rovers, yes, they got an upgrade in the jungle, but just in terms of Sligo Rovers versus them, like, Sligo should have had a little bit more practice together. They should have had a little bit more time together. They should have been able to kind of, really take it to Shamrock Rovers and show them that it isn't just about pure skill, it's about team play. But Shamrock Rovers, they seem to get their draft together, they seem to get all the right pieces of the puzzle together, they seem to know exactly what they wanted and how they wanted it to work. And, apart from a couple of deaths, it was a near perfect game.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we were talking about the team, we were really focusing on mid and bot lane. But, the jungler, who, again, as I said, we know him, it was Razor, yep. Razor's, he's known, apparently, within the scene, but a bit older, a few seasons ago, and he's come back in and performed really well. And who we didn't talk about was a full loaded tank in the top lane. Now, in their loss, I wouldn't necessarily attribute it to him, but he wasn't part of that core trio of support, ADC, and mid. And yet he had a really good performance from what we could see from the stats and the little of the gameplay on the Swain.
Yeah, definitely seemed very, very comfortable on that champion and very much needed to kind of get that comfort level. The Caitlyn was definitely not something that was working for him at all, or that's not the Kale, excuse me. I was going to say the Camille was not working for him at all in the first game of the week last week, but definitely looked a lot better on the Swain, looked a lot more comfortable, but probably the more important thing, looked a lot more impactful. That's the big thing.
Absolutely. But then this also kind of, now we're talking about Sligo, they need to do what the Shamrocks did. They lost the game, they put it behind themselves, they obviously talked about whatever issues they had, brought in a new player, and are now doing really well. But on the flip side, now we need to see what is going to happen with Sligo Rovers. Were they a one-hit wonder, or are they going to be able to fix this, come back and be dominant next week and the week after?
Yeah, it's just going to be a bit of a testament to them, but Cork and Sligo, when I talk about them a little bit as well, not Cork and Sligo, excuse me, Cork and Team 3. I don't know why, I saw pink and then thought Sligo for some reason. I have no idea why. But Team 3, they're kind of a weird mishmash of players, and, you know, we kind of been able to look at, you know, a pretty dominant performance from them in the game 1 or week 1, but will they be able to replay that kind of thing against Cork City, who kind of thrive in the early chaos? We talked about chaos in our last game. It's definitely something that these teams need to do. Cork, 100% the team to do it, and Gulag, the jungler, is the one to bring that chaos.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it will be really exciting to see. So going back to this game, like you said, mismatch of players on Team 3, but they had a very strong showing in the first one, and talking to them, they seem to get along really well. They get along personally, in-game, out-of-game, and so it's hopefully that will be able to, that kind of synergy will be able to translate into wins.
Yeah, and something I do want to bring up as a correction from last week, it's Pa, not Paw. He's very specific on the pronunciation of his name. It's supposed to be Pa, like Patrick, not Paw, like Pawpaw. Okay. So just yeah, he wants a Pa, you know, get the harsh A out there.
Pa. So the problem is, I don't want to be taking the mick.
See,
look at people you. Like, Pa. So it's like, oh, well, what's he saying? Is he making fun of us? And
yeah, but see, Irish people don't.
I end up somewhere and they shank me.
What? Why would they ever shank you?
Because I mispronounced it.
That is an extreme world that you live in, if that's where you're getting shanked for.
Absolutely. It is a bit extreme, but who knows? One of the players looking at Razer headset, obviously the Razer headset is provided by us, and I think, or maybe perhaps it's his own one, but he seems to like it, and he's looking
He did have a blue screen.
Sorry?
He did have a blue screen, so I don't know.
I don't know if he liked it that
happened.
Much. You know what? Like, it's just one of those things that happens, and sometimes you just gotta do it. But I think we're just having a look at a few things. But so far, I have to say, it's been last week we had some really good games, even games. This week they've been a lot more lopsided, but it's been interesting because we're starting to see, like we said, see the separation in the standings, and I think we'll see that continuing into next week.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about it a little bit, and we kind of keep harping on about it, about the length of the competition. But, you know, these long drives down, Connor and Holly talked about it a little bit outside as well. Like, you know, if you can pick up these big victories on the road, where they're, you know, these players, now, they are representing the likes of Cork and Derry and Sligo and Bray, but they're not necessarily from those areas. The big thing is, though, is if you are from this area and you can pick up a win, or if you're not from this area and you can pick up a win, that's a big journey that's paid off. You know, that's the big thing right there. So a lot of these players hailing from Dublin, a lot of them up from the north as well, like, we've got so many different demographics of players rolling around in this, you know, tournament, that when they are on the road, when they are, you know, kind of away from their comfort zones of their local kind of, you know, setups, it does fall on them to really try and pick up these wins, because there aren't that many home venues for you to win it.
No, absolutely, and it is so important, and you definitely want to represent your hometown and your home team, and it's a huge thing. Psychologically also, it makes the win that much sweeter. But then on top of that, when we're looking at it, I think one of the things that is very important here is also, like, part of the life of a pro is travel, it's playing, it's going from venue to venue, putting a send, and all of these things do matter, and being able to play, to wait, and so on, and sometimes it's going to be later games, and there'll be some weeks where the games last longer, and you'll be playing at 11 o'clock, and you've got to be able to perform and focus.
Yeah, just a little bit of a delay as well. We could see the couple of players having a couple of small issues with keyboards and stuff. Who knew plugging something into a USB could cause just so much chaos?
I did.
Yeah.
I know from many tournaments. Someone's like, do you normally have delays? I'm like, every time. It's like, why? Because you've got 20 people, you've got 20 keyboards, 20 speakers, earphones, mics. There's always something.
There is.
But it doesn't make sense, because at home, I swap mice in and out all the time. It's fine.
It's only ever when there's pressure as such to get the things going as such, you know, to get everything set up, ready to go. And And you see a couple of issues there from the side of, Cork City, and you'd hope that they'd be able to get set up fairly soon as well. Big trip home for a lot of people to Dublin as well, like about 3.5 hour drive. So you don't want them to really be kind of, stuck here for, extended periods of time.
Absolutely, and we can see we're panning down the players of Cork. They seem happy.
Look at all that Lucasade.
In the right move.
all the Lucasade they're drinking.
All the Lucasade energy.
Yeah,
Go
keep
out,
going.
buy it. Support our sponsors who are supporting us, guys. They're really great fun, actually. They're really nice guys out there, all of them. Really
the Lucasade guys?
Lucasade guys, the Peak guys.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just specifically talking about the Lucasade guys.
No, I would. But no, they've all been a lot of fun, and a lot of them, the Peak guys and a couple of them have some experience with esports and gaming.
Yeah.
But those that don't have been really enthusiastic, and they could be sitting there doing emails, but instead they're sitting and really watching the games, and afterwards they ask me a lot of questions like what is this, what is that, how do I get that, and so on. So it's cool.
It's good to see the interest coming in there. We have a look now at Cork just getting everything set up and finalised, making sure they are 100% coming into the final game of the day, and that is going to be a bit more of a, what were you texting? How dare you? How dare you?
I was tweeting.
You literally, when the kid gets caught on his phone in school and he's just like, oh, I was paying attention. Hello, like miss or sir.
I was going to tweet, but nobody told me we're coming back to us. So there we go. I was going to be like, guys, tune in to the third and final match of week 2, and there we go. I get caught on.
There's the tweet.
I ran into an old teacher of mine, and I was like, oh, I'm Nikita, I had you. And she's like, yeah, I remember you. Because she caught me using something out of my desk, and she was like, oh, it's obviously a phone. And she was like, give me that, And I pulled out a book on Roman history, because I really like Roman history. And I was reading about Jews. And she laughed, and when she was telling me the story, because she was like, I didn't know what to do. It was the first time in my life, and it still is, that I caught a student learning in something else and ignoring my teachings to learn, and it was like,
I suppose you're technically still not paying attention.
No, that was it. She took the book away. She gave it back to me, but she was like, she just didn't know. It's like, oh, you want to learn, but you're just not interested in my...
but not interested in my learnings.
It was a really good book, though, so I really enjoyed it.
I was the one who was on the phone, texting my mate who was probably about 3 chairs away from me, so he had to look at his phone. That's what I did.
You're younger than me. You just given a phone, like my brothers. Like all of
you.
Here's an iPhone, here's an iPhone, here's an iPhone.
Excuse you. I was not given. I saved 3 years of birthday money.
Oh my god.
Yep. I was not given anything.
That's really impressive. You know what? I respect kids that save up. Like I had a little my brother's friend who saved up for like the Beats headphones.
Oh yeah.
Terrible taste, but he saved up with them. That's definitely one of those things. Oh no, we just got caught on screen. Someone doing something much worse than texting.
Yeah.
Or tweeting.
Either or. He wasn't on his phone, at least. He's paying attention. He's so engrossed.
Yeah. Guys, so make sure to follow everyone. Connor and Holly told us their Twitter handles at the beginning of the stream. I don't know them by heart. I'm not going to check them.
I am going to check them.
You're going to check them. Okay, you're brave. That's cool. But make sure to follow my co-caster here, BP Cast. He's at BP Cast, so that's Bravo Papa Cast. And then you can follow myself at Wraithwell.
And you've got Holly H News for Holly. Got all our Twitter news there. We are on Twitter, just so we can confirm. Connor with 2 N's, I've been told. I did follow him. There he is, at Connor Phillips, 2 N's and 2 L's. Very important to get
Connor
those double.
Phillips and Holly H News.
Yep.
There we go. I'm at Wraithwell, RAITHWELL.
Yeah.
Make sure to follow Ireland's EStars, 3, Lucasade, Peak, and 4-Star Pizza. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, all of that stuff, guys. I know it sounds corny, but it actually does go a long way, because this is how our sponsors and partners really measure success, and we want it to succeed.
Can confirm Connor Phillips has followed me back, so we got the follow for follow. We're all good now. So because he says follow you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, you follow him, he follows you. It's a follow for follow. Like for like. I help promote him, he helps promote me. Now, that being said, 16,000 is a little bit bigger than 400.
He has 16,000.
Yeah, a little bit more than 400. A little bit. Actually, I think I'm on 404, which would be an error. which would be nice. We are stalling, by the way. We are very much stalling.
Very much stalling. So.
407.
16K, that's impressive.
Yeah, 16,000.
I mean, like, he is a proper TV presenter, and this is what I'm saying to everyone, like, support him. Like, you know, he's really trying to get into this, and he's bringing a lot of attention from people who wouldn't necessarily tune into this sort of stuff. So it's great, and yeah, I think so far the reception has been fairly positive.
Yeah, calling out Holly, who hasn't followed me back, by the way. Just calling that out right now. But
Holly,
yeah, Holly H News hasn't followed me back. Whatever, it's fine. I'm not upset about it.
I haven't even checked it. That's okay. I don't know. I feel like
I'm joking.
You know what, Connor? He can have a Twitter because he has 16,000 people following him. So when he tweets, people are listening and actually paying attention. When I tweet, I feel like I'm talking to
I just got the follow back from that's how you get follows, ladies and gentlemen. You call them out on stream.
Yeah, absolutely.
As soon as this is over, they'll just unfollow me because I'm completely irrelevant.
As soon as it's over, we're gonna, escort you off the premises.
Our presenters felt intimidated. You are no longer welcome, but we are, again, ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize for these delays. Again, we had some slight issues with the players to make sure everyone was okay. We want to make sure the players are comfortable. We want to make sure they are 100% set up, ready to go, and can give us the best possible game ever, because we had one fantastically close game in our first game of the day, which was really, really fun to cast. Very, very interesting to see how both teams. Pats versus Bray. I highly recommend you guys watch that one back if you do pick any games to watch back, but also two very lopsided games, and after that side you saw Shamrock Rovers decimating, is probably my favourite buzzword, but completely deleting Sligo Rovers on one side, and then you had Limerick unfortunately falling to Bohemians as well. So I want this to be a closer match. I think this match between Team 3, which are in the pink, as you can see, versus Cork, who are in the kind of like the red, the white, and the green. They're kind of a combination of everything. This should be a lot closer for these two teams.
It absolutely will be, and I think both teams, like we talked about, had really good performances last week, and we expected to come in. Will Team 3 be able to be as bloodthirsty as they were last week? I'm not so sure. And will Cork be able to play that kind of coordinated team play that we saw from them last week? And are they going to be able to bring out those unusual picks that we saw? Will we see the Vigar? I'm not so sure. Will Team 3 allow it?
Yeah, well,
that's going to be interesting to see.
I want to see if if Team 3 are prepared for it. So if they do whip it out, they have no problem dealing with it. But at the same time, is it going to be enough to take on Team 3? The biggest thing about Team 3, we talked about it last week about star players, the Messis, Ronaldos of your teams that will kind of carry you through. Rengus is that player. Rengus is the guy that you have to ban out. You have to ban Camille. You have to ban Fiore. You kind of have to ban Jace. You have to ban so many things against this guy that it's just, it becomes such a chore then to kind of figure out oh crap, they're all getting their comfort champions and he still has something to go back onto. It's going to be interesting to see how the draft phase goes, which hopefully we're going to see very, very soon. I can see the draft up on top of the players' screens there, so hopefully we'll be seeing that very, very soon. But I think Cork can make this work, but if Gulag gets focused and Gulag goes down, they lose all of that early game pressure they had. But look at the Betty. You can't see us, but we're hiding there.
We're actually in the back of the casting cabin right there. You might...
Yeah, I can kind of see. Yeah, there's a hand. There's another one.
But that's us there. That's Big Betty. So she's a truck. She can go all over Europe. It's a great thing, and we can set up the stage anywhere, bringing esports to the people, as the tagline goes. But yeah, no, I agree with you completely. I think the thing that was really great about Cork was that they just went for the comfort picks. They didn't even attempt, meta. They were just like, we're just going to do it. We're going to have a lot of fun. Hey!
Oh, there we are. I was like, where is he?
You don't know where the cameras are. Yeah. We used to have a camera actually in the front there, which was really good fun. But
it's kind of creepy having him right there, because I didn't even see him until we got. I didn't know he was there.
Are you not into that?
What? No, he's still there. He's still there.
Do you guys have a watershed?
Huh?
Do you guys have a watershed here?
What the hell's a watershed?
It's like a British, I think it's apparently
we do. Producers, we do.
It means that past a certain time you're allowed to change from PG to PG-13.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know what time it is in the UK.
I'm not going to risk it by dropping any kind of F-bomb.
Oh no, we would never do that. The internet audience is a very sensitive and pure one, so we've got to pay attention to that. I'm going to give one quick shout out to my friend John, who is watching and saying that apparently we're doing great stalling, but we don't need stall anymore, because we're now into it, the picks and bans. So traditional kind of picks and bans on side of 3, apart from Ilawi, but I've heard she is, like, I've seen her kind of do quite well online. She is quite a strong pick, and especially in the right hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Zaya, Zach, and Ilawi banned by Team 3. Cork City going to ban, though, the Jace, as I talked about, the Sejuani, and the Kaiser. They leave open the Fiora for Team 3. Rengus will pick that any day of the week.
But this is the thing, like,
1v9.
again, one... Kaiser, we're on 8.5, guys. We told you she is not strong, not worth it. Jace Band, totally get it. He did great on it last week, and it's not even particularly strong at the moment. It was just well executed. But Fiora is strong. She's really good. Her and Camille, I love the two of them. And Fiora can take over the games, and she can really push in. And I'm not entirely sure. I mean, like a ranged matchup, it's probably going to be the best one up in top lane.
Yeah, but like the thing with Fiora what makes her so powerful is she's got the same kind of mechanics as a Gangplank. She takes Kleptomancy, which means it doesn't matter how far you put her behind, she's still gaining gold. That's the big thing now, so I'm very, very curious to see if Rengus can really pop off on this pick. If he doesn't, there's going to be a lot of question marks on him as a top laner, especially with other teams looking at this kind of saying, he's got something he's super comfortable on, he needs to pop off on it. If he doesn't, he's going to be in some serious, serious trouble later on in the tournament. But Poppy picked into it, that's a pretty big counter towards the Fiora. You pop up the steadfast presence, she can't dash away, you've got so many ways of kind of delaying your CC, she doesn't get the riposte, so many ways to go for it. But there's going to be a Skarner Tarek locked in for Cork City alongside that Poppy, and the Ezreal Braum for Team 3.
So clearly 3 know what they want to prioritize. Obviously, as you said, star players in the top lane. They grab the Fiora first pick, but then they straight away lock in Braum, Ezreal. They didn't even really hesitate there. So they know what they want to put their bot lane in and how they want to play around it, which is really good to see. On the other side, you're absolutely right. Poppy is a great counter to Fiora. Or not a hard counter, but a soft counter. Same with the Camille, and I really enjoy playing Poppy as well. Great mechanics, and it's a really fun lane to watch because there's a lot of back and forth, and with like wrong positioning on either side can kind of really, you can see the other player take advantage of it. So it's a nice skill matchup. Bans coming in from Cork City, Olaf and Jarvan. Olaf, I understand. Jarvan also Varus and Veigar, which makes sense that they don't want the Ezreal to go up against Varus, and Varus is a very good one. And as we mentioned, I wonder if they were going to ban the Veigar. It looks like they are.
Yeah, and I love this second rotation of bans coming out from Cork City. Zach and Sejuani is gone. You've picked the Skarner. There's your S-tier jungler. Well, Olaf's pretty much up there as well. Your top 4 junglers and your Jarvan all gone. That's going to force the side of Team 3 to really dig deep into that champion pool. Do they go with the Kha'Zix? Yes, but it can be deleted by the Skarner. The fact that the Impale is so powerful against him. They get rid of the Veigar and the Varus, but they're kind of not picking a specific lane. It's almost, if you swap out the Varus with a support, there's almost literally a ban in every single lane. And
absolutely.
Generally speaking, in kind of, draft phases as such, what you don't want to be doing is you don't want to be picking one thing off everything. You want to be focusing, especially in that second half of the ban phase, one person that's not going to get something
and
comfortable.
Pinching that champion pool and forcing them on something a little bit uncomfortable. The thing is, it's like Xayah really is a top tier. I understand that. Varus, we've seen a bit hit or miss. He is good, but like Caitlyn is very serviceable, so it's not something. And then you have Tristana, who can come in and do kind of similar long range tower taking. So I agree with you, I'm not entirely sure. They are going for the Volibear in the jungle and Corki mid. So this was what I was going to say. They can't really, like when we're looking at it with Fiora in the top lane, they have to take something tanky in the jungle, because otherwise it's just simply too squishy. They have an off tank and a Zillion in the bot lane with the mid lane Zillion. It's mid lane Zillion. So this is going to be really interesting. Mid lane Zillion against Corki.
Yeah, mid lane Zillion against Corki, and then it's just going to be such an interesting one there, because Corki does get the slow. It's actually pretty impactful against him. He has got the Valkyrie to get out of most situations, but it's kind of a weird one for him that if the Zillion... It's such a weird one for me because Zillion's great up to mid game, and then his ultimate's just so important afterwards. So this to me just screams that they want to keep the Caitlyn as live as possible. Even if they do get everything on the side of Team 3 onto the Caitlyn, they still have the ultimate from the Zillion to be able to bring her back to life and bring her back into the fight. That's what I feel like is why this Zillion pick was drafted in. Also, AoE bombs, good for wave clear, and also the slow onto the Ezreal or the Fiora or even the Corki is huge in these team fights.
Absolutely. And then you can see, like you said, they're really focusing on the Caitlyn lane for that late game scheme, where they have a Tarek, which they first picked, and then they have the Skarner to suppress, bring someone in, so they have a lot of tools to enable and protect that Caitlyn. But it'll be really interesting interesting to see. Are they able to execute this comp? Because Zilean can put out a lot of consistent damage with the double bombs, create these stuns, which can then be chained into a Skarner ultimate, a Poppy, or something, or like a Caitlyn trap. You drop the Caitlyn trap, that's it, and you're pumping out so much damage. But on the other side, 3 high damage comp. You got it, like an Ezreal, a Corki, great poke damage, a Fiora, who if she runs away with it, especially if she decides to just pure split push, and it kind of, in my opinion, they're probably looking at a 4-1 comp. This could be quite a...
Well, on the side of Team 3, with the Corki and the Fiora, it gives you a lot of kind of, safety in a 1-3-1 comp. You can put the Volibear and the Ezreal and the Braum into that mid lane if you so choose. Fiora's off to the side lane. No one can really deal with her. Corki's super safe. No one's can really deal with him. Whereas on look at the side of Cork City, they're looking for picks. They're looking to find the one carry, catch him, and completely blow him up before he can have any impact into this. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see who actually gets what team comp off for them. Because Cork City, they want to try and team fight a little bit more than the side of Team 3. Fiora should never be near a team fight. Fiora should never ever be near a team fight. We've seen a couple of players do go towards those team fights, but with the Kleptomancy, with the amount of pressure she's able to put down onto Poppy, there will be kill pressure there as well. She needs to be on that side wave.
And she's so strong in those 1v1, 1v2 situations, split pushing. She can create so much pressure. But like you said, Cork is definitely looking for the picks. They're looking for the team fight, and this is where they can actually force it. And I think that might bring, like, we can see Corky off on the side, but Cork can then turn around and they can actually force a base race. And in that situation, if they're just going to tunnel down mid as a ball of death in 5, they should be okay. But they're definitely not looking to be playing for the late game, because Caitlyn takes a little while to ramp up.
Yeah, the thing why Caitlyn is probably not seen as like the best hyper carry right now, or kind of a best AD carry, is she does have a very significant lull where she just doesn't really do anything.
She doesn't build Gwyn's range rate, which is so good
on 8.5
and 8.5, but on 8.6, less good. But but there's also a nerf to Static Shiv.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Redistribution.
It's a weird one with Static Shiv. We'll talk about it a little bit just because we're waiting to go into game.
Next week.
We'll talk about more next week. But basically, Rapid Fire, much better. Static Shiv, not so good. So it's kind of increasing that whole kind of like long range. Like Jin should be coming back.
I think they moved the Rapid Fire. They increased the damage there to kind of bring it in line with Static Shiv. Static Shiv still can wave clear, but it's not like a one-shot wave clear because they nerfed. I think it's like the
damage to the
minions, which was like what was it? I can't remember the exact stats.
Yeah, I was going to say,
so
I can't remember
I had it, but I'm like, actually, you know what? I'm not going to put myself out there. But it will be interesting to see how that develops, because that does affect the itemization with enough also to Gwyn's range blade, enough to Duskblade. There's going to be some, and the nerfs to Duskblade were mainly because it was the redistributing. They gave a buff then to the champions that were using Duskblade. But it's definitely going to have an impact. Sorry?
You one-shot wards now.
Yeah,
the Duskblade,
if you're melee,
yes,
which is also a really nice and interesting balance. But I'm very interested to see how it's going to impact bot lane, because Kai'Sa gets a buff, and then we're kind of in this situation where itemization is maybe a bit more flexible. But going back to this game, like you said, Caitlyn, she doesn't build Gwyn, so she takes a while to ramp up, and that's kind of where the opportunities are. And 3, on the other hand, start out quite strong.
Yeah, they have a lot of early game pressure. Braum's so good with the concussive blows, passive in general, able to use the Winter's Bite to slow people. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see an invade coming out from Team 3 in the first few seconds, mainly because Volibear, if he has got that, kind of the Rolling Thunder, the Q, he's able to knock someone back. That creates a huge amount of distance, and then everyone can just pile on top of him. He can flash, Q, knock back, get a kill, no problem at all.
So I've heard good things about Volibear, I just haven't necessarily seen it executed well.
I love him.
In theory, he's like a...
He's a very, very good... So they changed a couple of things on him. So he was really bad about 2 patches ago. He was awful. There was no reason...
Longer ago, because he was really bad, really good...
and then kind of bad again, So, but basically the way they changed him is they added up a knock-up effect onto his fear, so it's actually a little bit of a CC, which costs a little bit more time. They actually added as well that if you knock someone in the air and then use your fear, it actually gets more damage onto them, so he's got more dueling potential. He's got little things like that, and, his passive's always been good, but not great, but the fact that so many, top laners or even, mid laners don't take Ignite anymore makes that passive of regening, once he goes below 30% HP, regening back up to 60%, makes it so much more powerful as well, considering that he usually does build something like a Spirit Visage, which increases that healing again, or a Warmogs, which just gives him passive healing anyway.
I mean, he can be pretty monstrous. A bit very frustrating, and that was like, I think the last time I was really playing against him, he was in top lane. He was just so frustrating, and you really needed to do is you needed to kind of force the engage, proc the passive, back off, get your jungler in, and then catch him while his passive was down. We're seeing a buff to Ignite next patch as well, which is going to be interesting. So that'll be interesting to see who brings that. Increase in damage. It's not huge, but it hopefully will bring it back into
I think at like level 18, it's an extra 145 damage, which I know doesn't sound huge, but it can actually be the difference between an AD carry living and dying. Yeah. So it could be very... I suppose Ignite was kind of falling into that kind of barrier point of summoner spells where like it was okay, no one ever took it because there's just far better ones to take. You know, TP's much better. Cleanse with the amount of CC you see on most team comps nowadays is a far better summoner spell. Heal is always going to be good with the movement speed and the permanent health it gives back to you. So I'm glad to see Ignite getting a little bit of a buff, but at the same time it's not going to be so overwhelming. But we won't see that until next week in Sligo, as that would be our next pit stop on our fantastic journey that is EStars. But we'll talk about it a little bit more in depth then, but right now, coming into this one, it seems like the players are just about finishing off their draft, should be getting in straight into game. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we do apologise for the slight delay. Got to make sure the players are 100%. Last game of the day, we just want to get it over the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. We're going to jump in, and it should be a good game. It's definitely... Both drafts are interesting. They're kind of polar opposites. We're not going to see...
I think Rengus is cold. He's got like 4 jumpers on in the mid lane. middle player there. Yeah, he's got a lot of layers. He's not feeling the tension or the heat. He needs to get all that warmth.
It's quite warm in there, though.
It is, actually. Yeah, you got like 20 PCs going and an entire production room, so...
Yeah, exactly. There we go. And a lot of people. Don't forget the people.
Yeah, a lot of kind of just people, like, you know, sweating it out, you know, just kind of...
They're not that sorry. Don't be mean to the players. You're getting on a bus with them.
I was just about to say, you weren't on that bus home from Dundalk last week.
Ooh, no, I'm afraid not.
It was a sweaty bus.
I'm not afraid I wasn't. I'm pretty happy I wasn't. But yeah, no, it is. It's a good draft from both teams. It's once again, I mean, it's kind of like that thing that we just keep saying, but it's like, how are they going to execute their team comp? How are they going to play to their win conditions? And are they going to play their game, or are they going to be reactive to the other game? Because I think 3, at least in the early game, are really going to dictate, early to mid game, have an opportunity to really dictate the tempo and the opportunity to take over the game and force the hand of Cork.
Yeah, I think Cork, though, they're feeling pretty relaxed. You can see them smiling, laughing, having a bit of crack about it. So definitely good to see from their end of things. But like you said, all kind of, you know, how they deal with Rengus on that top side. The Fiora, the high damage from the Corki. There's a lot of different things there. I actually don't like the Ezreal pick, kind of. I prefer to see something like a Xayah or something that can really push turrets.
Xayah was banned.
Oh, Xayah was banned. That's absolutely correct. Yeah. So, but maybe even something like they take the Caitlyn instead of themselves.
Cogmore or Trist. I mean,
Trist
could have been good. Cogmore's good, like distance. I think like the nice thing about Ezreal is he is
safe.
Mobile and safe. And the way they picked it in the rotation, where they just grabbed a Braum Ez, gives me the impression that that's really what they're trying to go for. They're trying to go for a very safe bot lane and enable their top and their mid to carry.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll be able to do it if you're a Team 3 fan. Obviously, a lot of people thinking that Team 3 are going to make it to the finals, given they are the fantastic sponsors of 3 EStars, but I can see a couple of road bumps coming up in front of them, and this is one of them. Cork, definitely a bit of a wild card. If I was to say if any team were a wild card in this tournament, it would have to be Cork. Taking that first victory, they look solid. They had a couple of small mistakes, but given another week of time, they might have picked up.
Where do you put them in against the Bohemians?
I love the Bohemians.
I think they're both very good teams that have a similar kind of like team-orientated playstyle rather than relying on just one carry.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I think the biggest test for Cork, like if I was to tell you my top 4 right now, it's going to have to be Sligo, not in any order, this is just top 4, not in any order. Sligo Rovers, Shamrock Rovers. I'm then leaning towards Dundalk. And then it's kind of a 4-way tie between, say, Cork City, Team 3, Bray, and I can't remember the last team now. I've completely blanked on that one.
Bohemians?
But Bohemians, yes, thank you. I was like, it's not Dublin City.
No.
But yeah, so I see a 4-way tie. So like realistically, this kind of third or fourth position are very hotly contested.
So Bray was the next one I was going to say, because to me it's like I look at Sligo and Shamrock Rovers as the top tier. Even though they're 1-1, it's kind of what we'd expect from them. So let's say they're contesting there. But then outside of that, we have Bray, Cork, 3, and Bohemians. And those are the ones. So for me, I wouldn't necessarily put top 3. I would kind of separate 2 and then the next 4. But at the same time, as I'm saying all of that, you know what? Like, Shamrock Rovers and Saigo 1-1.
Yeah.
So as much as we expect them, and we talked about this in week 1, there's a big difference playing at home and then playing on a stage. There's a big difference traveling, playing, going up against opponents, getting a little bit too confident in your abilities, and then matching up against people that might you kind of think you can just steamroll them, and then suddenly they pull out something and able to outplay you.
That's the thing. Like, you can't be cocky. You have to just kind of take your victories one at a time and take your games one at a time, because if you do end up becoming too cocky or too complacent, you will just fall down to some of these teams. But ladies and gentlemen, we are finally onto the riff for our last game of the day of week 2 of the 2018 3 EStars tournament. Team 3 versus Cork. It's going to be a good one.
Absolutely, it really is. And here we are. We're finally into the match. It's going to be an exciting one. I definitely want to watch the top lane. That is the lane to watch, I think. And so much is going to be focused on that top lane. Because as you said, Rengas can really take over a match. And it'll be interesting to see what he's able to do. Because early game and mid game, I think it's going to be so reliant on him and getting ahead. Whereas this Titty Sprinkles is able to really hold his own and not give up any advantages. That could mean that Cork delay the game to the point where Caitlyn really picks up the steam that she needs to, and then start taking towers.
I like what Cork have done as well. Just a very small little thing, but they've all taken a club tag as Cork TM. So I like that. Yeah. I like that, we're a unit, we're all together. And then you got Quack and Nothing, and then I think UCD was thrown in there. So it's like, no team cohesion. Cork, take the win, move on, FF, next game.
There we go. It's just the way it is. We will have to see what thing is. But it is nice, and it is good. To support the teams to get into it and to work together. But here we go. I am Pa in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's I am Pa, not I am Pa.
I am Pa.
See, because he's not a father, apparently.
Not that he's aware of.
Yeah.
Gulag in the jungle, and we can see both
Rengas
starting at the red, moving over. I'm guessing it's a pretty normal start. Rengas getting a little bit of damage on Titty Sprinkles, but I don't know.
Let's call them Sprinkles from now on.
Sprinkles.
Yeah.
Titty Sprinkles.
Let's just call them Sprinkles.
Is that my accent, or?
No, it's just the word.
What he's
that is what he's trying to say. Let's just call them Sprinkles.
Sprinkled it is.
Sprinkles it is, as we see Sock Monster and Cramp in the bot side. And I must say, actually, Cramp is someone I've been watching a little bit more closely in recent days. I haven't known a huge amount about him, but I saw him in the Irish Collegiate League as well. Yeah. His own team at UCD played exceptionally well in that game as well. So I want to see if he's able to translate that into this game here. And already you see Team 3, they're going to have the early pressure. You talked about this a lot. They're going to have the the push in the top side, Corky in the mid lane, and then the safety in the bot lane. They're going to be able to put pressure onto these lanes. It's just what they do with that pressure that's the important thing.
Absolutely, and we can see Corky being able to push around Zillion initially. He's got a bit of a CS advantage, and before when we flashed over to that lane, we could see that he was low on health, but it's seeming to be balanced itself out. No one is getting too much of an advantage, and but the Caitlyn is pushing in, which is to be expensive. She's
just a Caitlyn.
Very aggressive lane.
She's just a Caitlyn. We actually see a little bit of a freeze coming out here for the side of Team 3. Feeling good about this lane so far. Actually, Ezreal even on CS. Rengas and Sprinkles taking a bit of a trade, but already Rengas so far ahead already, but with 10 CS, and should be equalized once this wave hits the turret, but it's so difficult for Poppy to really kind of abuse that as well, because it's so difficult for Poppy to hit things on her turret. Hasn't got a great execute. Especially
in the first couple of levels where her auto-attack animation is actually a bit slow and elongated, and it just gets frustrating. You can very easily mistime it and miss that CS. It was a shame also because she tried to counter out and stun Fiora in the wall, but just slightly wrong angle, and it meant that it didn't work out there. But we'll see a little bit of trading here. What'll be interesting to see is that actually when you're playing Fiora against Poppy, what you can do is or against anyone really, is if you don't get that advantageous vulnerable spot, you can step a little bit out of the distance and it will cycle. And it isn't in a random cycle. Originally it was, and then Riot changed it to rotate to the opposite sides. So what you can do as a Fiora is step back out of range, have the vulnerable spot kind of disappear, and then come back, and so you can constantly force it in the lower right and then in front.
Yeah, it's definitely something that better Fiora players will be able to abuse. They understand the champion, they understand how to work that champion's skill set. And Sprinkles missed the cannon. That's so annoying. It's just the most annoying thing when you're in a lane. It's like there's no pressure, you should get it, you just don't get it.
Back when old runes were a thing, I actually took attack speed.
Just so you can, most people did. Most people did.
It was one of those things that people did on Poppy, which was like a 1 or 2 attack speed. I don't know if it was Quince, I can't remember what it was, but it just suddenly made that 1 to 3 so much more bearable. But not that bad. 5-6 CS behind. It's not a huge amount, and we're already getting level 5, and things are going to get a bit easier for Poppy once she hits that 6.
Yeah, once that's a 6, able to kind of knock away Rengus. Cool. Rengus able to do a lot of damage, and I'd love to see the gold in a second because we are seeing about an 800 gold lead. I guarantee that is purely on Fiora, like no other. Actually, maybe Corki.
No, I think Corki with the 10 CS.
True, but I guarantee with the Kleptomancy that Rengus is able to kind of just have so much more pressure in this lane, and Sprinkles just able to do a lot more, actually. I feel like he's definitely trading this a lot healthier. The Doran's shield definitely helps out in that trade, especially when you're looking at the side of a Doran's shield versus a Doran's blade.
Huge, but part of it is that, like, Poppy in the first 3 levels is just not great. But then once she gets all 3 pieces of her initial kit, it suddenly makes the matchup a little bit easier.
Yeah,
both getting level 6 at the same time, which is an important part. And once again, like, that's the thing, is that like with Poppy, it's just about not dying and waiting for those opportunities. And the other thing is like Poppy can actually back out to reset her vulnerable spot as well. So it's back and forth. But it's been a while since Poppy's been in the meta, so.
Yeah, definitely a soft counter like we talked about to the Fiora. It does very well. We saw it a couple of times there, stopping the steadfast, or using the steadfast presence to stop any kind of movement into you. As we see this bot lane, I am Pa, trying to just get a little bit more dominance and trying to keep Cramp on the back foot. But actually, it's Cramp who's actually picking up all the CS. This constant pushing coming out from Cork, not paying huge dividends just yet. They're actually down about maybe 6 or 7 CS, depending on how these waves go. And that is not a position you want to be in if you're the Caitlyn Tarek.
No, it's a really good freeze out of the side of 3. They recognize, and once again, like we're seeing, like we were talking about in the draft, they grabbed these Ezreal and Braum in the second rotation. Obviously a very safe lane, and then they've gone and done this freeze, which is even better. So on the side of Cork, what they really need to do is just break it.
Yeah,
they need to hard push, reset the wave, because at the moment, Cramp is just getting a CS advantage, and he's in no danger.
Well, he's in no danger, but as well as that, he's got a cull stacking, he's got his tier stacking, he's got so many little things. The longer this laning phase goes on without any kind of real kill pressure, it's just going to benefit him so much. Kleptomancy giving him extra little bit of gold, so he's got a lot of things going in his favor right now. But it'll be interesting to see.
Going for that tier, definitely more of the slow build for him.
I'll have to stop you here right now as we got to see a first gank into Rengus. He's actually stopped by the Steadfast Presence, has got flash, not going to use it. First blood to the Poppy. Rengus being caught out, not respecting the damage from the Skarner and the Poppy. Great play there from Cork.
Absolutely, really good play out of Sprinkles. They're biding his time, kind of not allowing Rengus to bully him too much. And once he got to the higher levels, that's it. He was able to kind of hold his own, pick and do a little bit of damage over to Rengus, waiting for Gulag to cycle up top, and great reactions.
I like this. I didn't actually talk about this a lot in the pick and ban, but I like Gulag going onto this Skarner. It gives him so much similar things that Rek'Sai gave him that he's able to kind of set things up. As I said, that Slippy is in this bot side, going to try to go for a gank of his own, but they have spotted out the big bear. Going to defend that pink ward as well with a little bit of a dazzle from the Tarek. But again, good start there from Cork, but they're still about 1,000 gold behind. That's mainly because of these CS leads in pretty much all lanes.
Absolutely, and this is, as we talked about in the previous matches, just those fundamental mechanics can put you significantly ahead, and it is, despite giving up first blood. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. Skarner is just very strong right now in the meta, and there's a reason for that. And a lot of teams have just not picked him up, which I found surprising, and it's good to see Gulag grab him and put him to good use.
Gulag as well didn't have to use his flash, so once his Impale comes back up, he has got opportunities to go into other lanes. Corki, you would imagine, will be a target. Rengus didn't blow his flash, so maybe go back up into that top side below a summoner or two. But I like the little kind of, you know, little thing there, because Sprinkles, he wasn't doing badly, but he definitely just needs to keep this Fiora down, or at least try and keep equal with this Fiora as best he can. Getting that kill does pop him back up onto equal gold. He's already got the, you know, kind of components of a Thornmail and the Ninja Tabby to keep him sustained in this lane, to make sure it's not an easy pushover for Rengus. TP advantage, though, is in favor of Cork. Do they look to use it? They've only got about a minute and a half left on that before it actually does get equaled out by Rengus's cooldowns.
Good reactions coming out of the Ezreal there, and the turret putting a nice amount of pressure on, but it's definitely, you would expect Caitlyn to be controlling the lane a lot more and actually putting more pressure on the other side, but the bot lane mix of Ezreal is paying off. And we were saying we weren't sure about the pick, but I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out for them.
I'd say 3 are pretty happy with it as well, because this is actually a pretty huge CS lead given who you're against. You're 10 CS up, you have a Cole, and you have a tier. Cramp going very aggressive, does miss out on the Dazzle. So again, you can just see a little bit of skill discrepancy here. Pa, not Pa, but he's, you know, he's forced to constantly just use his, you know, his mana and his abilities to just wave clear, and every single time he's missing 1 or 2 in each wave. He's missing those key big ones on the cannon minion, and it's just costing him and his team those little advantages, because we've already seen halfway through the, you know, the Cole for the side of Cramp, and he's just going to be feeling so much better coming into this mid game.
I mean, he grabbed a very early tier as well, which could, you know, on top of a Cole is a pretty greedy play, but it's paying off great. Like, it could have been punished pretty harshly, but it hasn't been, which has been really good. Sprinkles going in for a bit of aggression and able to push Rengus away from the shield, so he's able to pick it up again, grab that shield, and comes out in a nice little positive trade.
Yeah, and Rengus is very dependent on, you know, Sprinkles not getting that passive shield, because if the passive shield goes down, it's a good chunk that he can't really eat through, and a lot of his burst just kind of goes down the drain. He is going to be able to CS fairly easily underneath this turret. He is Fiora after all, but I want to know where the next play comes from. You see, Yo has got that package available to him, and it's all basically kind of down to where is the next play. Vision, not actually great for at all for Team 3. They need to get back onto the map, start dropping down pink wards and regular wards. You can see that now. They're trying to establish vision around this dragon, which is a mountain. We have seen the day of triples for most teams. We'll see if that does follow this trend into this game.
I mean, you know, Corki is not the lane I would necessarily go to, but at the same time, you do have a stun on the side of Zilean, and then as well as a suppression from Skarner, so it is an opportunity, if they can combo things in the right way, that Corki never even gets the opportunity to use the package to get away. But it's a bit of a risky, you know, it's a risky gank. At the moment, you know, even bot lane is a bit of a trickier one as well to kind of go on. So hard farming isn't a bad shout, and with Poppy kind of pressuring Fiora up and top, it's not a bad thing. But yo, ooh.
I like how we just saw the two of them actually fighting over the coin right there, because you can see how imperative it is to the Poppy survival into this lane. Rengus can get a lot of damage down if he can deny that little kind of shield from coming up. You just saw it there. It goes in, takes a trade, does no damage, but takes a lot in return.
Yeah, he does, and that shield is great, and you've got to play around it because there's also a slum mechanic, but we have a double gank in bot lane.
Yeah, here we go. Ultimates being used. We're going to see the great Taric ultimates and double TPs as Braum goes down. Cramp and Slippy going to be left to stay here, but now the pressure is in favor of Cork in this bot side, but all around the map, we're going to see Team 3 pushing up those waves. They need to try and just force this turret, get 2 tier 2s, or sorry, a tier 1 and a tier 2, because otherwise they're going to give up 2 tier 1s. There's Slippy going to drop down the ultimate, see if he can do anything here. Get stunned up. There's the knockaway and the flash. They're just trying to get this turret down, but I don't honestly think they're going to be able to pick it up. But actually, mid laner and top laner have backed away from the side of Team 3. Good proactive play from Cork. They're still in position to be able to do something with this. As I tell you, that Sprinkles not able to get back at all, and that's going to leave a free lane for Rengus for that little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, good reactions, team pushes down, but once again, something we've seen throughout the day today is that good understanding, and what they're doing isn't wrong, but the execution isn't necessarily there. They really should have pushed and forced that turret, because on the other side you could see that 3 weren't able to go and take the touch. They didn't have the minion waves in the right positions or the damage really to be able to do it. So with 5-man bot, I think they could have taken the tower.
Possibly. You have to be very careful, though. Volibear in these early stages of the game can do a huge amount of damage. Actually, they get nothing for it and are going to lose the first Drake of the game. That's actually pretty significant. You'd feel like if they don't go for the tower, they go for the Drake. And that's actually massive for the side of Team 3. Despite losing the kill, they actually gain 2 TP cooldowns on the off of Cork and a Mountain Drake, which is going to be pretty big for their turret pushing siege comp.
For 1 kill.
Yeah.
So not a huge benefit for Cork, and they're still about 2,000 gold behind.
Yep, and that is, honestly, it's going to be probably all onto that Corki and Rengus, because there's 40 CS in favor of the Corki over this Zilean. And Zilean only just about getting some. As I say that, though, actually, you can see Sprinkles getting a lot of damage down on top of him. Has not got the ultimate. Oh, Rengus so close to going down there. Zilean is on the hunt. You can see him on your mini map as we're going to try maybe catch out the Fiora. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch him, though. Hasn't got the movement speed. Backs away. Fiora able to get that kill and has got TP advantage as well. So can stay in this lane, push it in, poke back, and then TP straight back in.
I want to say skill, but really I feel like Rengus lucked out there. I mean, I knew he knew he could proc the ultimate heal, but did he know that the tick would be enough for him to live?
I think he definitely made a calculated decision on that one, but it is more of a kind of, if he had if the shield had gone onto Sprinkles, if he had lasted a little bit longer, it would have been a 1-for-1 trade, which would not have been worth for the side of the Fiora. But she does pick up the first turret and is actually going to be able to jump straight onto the Zilean. Zilean really doesn't have anywhere to go. Actually, he's going to try and bait it out. Has got the ultimate, will get resurrected. No flash on Rengus. Means that he's going to be in a lot of trouble here. They're going to be able to push this one in pretty damn quickly as they try and flash in. Rengus, though, quick feet, able to push in even faster, or push away even faster, I should say. And honestly, I don't think they can get him right now. They're going to have to try and push in. Rengus, though, no Poppy available for the Zilean, means they have to back away. And that's going to be a free walk away despite the amount of they push into that. And then mid lane goes down as well as Volibear throws into that party. Honestly, I don't know what's going on with the side of Cork. They're just kind of losing objectives left, right, and center. Both supports ultimating in the bot side means they're going to be an equal trade. But there's, not really much else for them there. Cork definitely behind on the pace.
Really enjoying the way that Tarek is reacting to the pressure that's coming out of the Braum. Every time it happens, he has no hesitation about popping his ultimate and moving in and pressuring with this stun on the Ezreal, and it forces the Ezreal to disengage. So they haven't managed to get very much on the side of 3 in the bot lane, but they don't need to, because Rengus really pushed that advantage, played it really well, grabbed the turret, and Corki just out kind of laned Perf in mid lane against the Zilean. You don't necessarily expect Zilean to win the lane, but he does have wave clear and he should be able to kind of hold off against Corki.
Yeah, Zilean made a lot of roams in that game, and they were kind of fruitful, not really fruitful. You see Furf not really getting what he wants, and looks like we're on for another triple Drake spawn, as the next one will be a mountain. So Cork, you would imagine, as we see some weird interactions there, as Skarner tries to walk past Zilean, they seem to be getting caught up on each other, but you would imagine Cork will be looking for that kind of objective right now, because they need something else. They have got the Caitlyn, they have got the Zilean, but this Fiora will just melt turrets. You can see her, she's already been rotated down to this bot side. They've put their bot lane up to the top end, so they're going to be able to pick up that last outer turret pretty much free. Absolutely no contest, and that's going to be huge for the side of Team 3. They're able to kind of keep up the pace, keep up the momentum, and really put the pressure down onto Cork.
Absolutely, and we can see Rengus has just been farming really well.
He's 2 levels ahead.
Exactly, but you look at the farm, he's close to about 8 per minute, which is huge. He's got a kill on himself, he's got the Kleptomancy, so all of these things are just translating to quite a significant item advantage. Poppy hasn't completed 1 full item yet. On the other side, we have 1.5 items over. So that's a big thing. Corki now has a big power spike with his Trinity Force completed. And in the bot lane, Ezreal is getting pretty close to having his Trinity Force. So we're coming to that mid-game power spike that I was talking about early on, which is really in the side of 3. And it's now, can they push this advantage and end the game? Because they've got about a 4k lead, which is pretty significant. Or is Cork going to be able to survive and then just become a little bit of a rolling ball of death?
Yeah, we saw Cork, though. They were behind in the Shamrock Rovers game last week, and they did come back, but a little bit of a difference here. Actually, I lied. They're actually both against Volibears in both games, and as I say that, though, we're going to see the Impale Not quite used just yet. Good. Tarek ultimate going to stop pretty much everything there, but there's just no damage available. They can't keep Capeman alive, and now the Zillion's popping in to try and do something with it here. Gulag trying his best, but the pathing was just a little bit off. There's the Zillion ult only onto Krusty Pants, but he is not going to be able to do anything after he resurrects, and he will just drop as quick as you like. And while that was all happening on the bot side, we did see the Poppy in the kill feed going down to Rengus, and that is not what you want to see if you're on the side of Cork. Now they're under some serious pressure. Structures are going to start falling, and they really don't have an answer for any of this damage that's coming out from the side of Team 3.
That's a huge turnaround right there. Once power went down, what's the point of throwing the Zillion ult on a Tarek who's just gonna die? It's kind of like you're buying a bit of time, but you're not really doing anything with it. And now we're seeing about a 7k gold lead on the side of 3, which is huge. Again, at sub 20 minutes.
Yeah.
This is like, it seems these games are just running away with them, and Cork is just not able to, like, despite all the proactive plays they were doing and the kills they were getting, they were still behind in gold, and they weren't really converting those kills into anything.
Yeah, we actually see a conversion of those kills on the top side, not only equaling a tower, but equaling a Rift Herald as well. It's Gulag not having the same impact in this game as it did in the last. Definitely needs to be a little bit more proactive with who he grabs onto that one. I feel like he didn't have time to use his Impale, and just having the TP coming in from Rengus, it was a delayed 4v4 as such, but it's just not working out for them right now. And I gotta put a lot of the blame onto Furf. He's just not able to deal with this Corky. 50 CS down is huge at this stage in the game. Sprinkles, you can't really blame him for having a pretty bad time against a Fiora. As we're gonna see, there's the ultimate there used to keep him away. Both ultimates burned by both jungler, or by both top laners. And as I said that though, there's gonna be Pa even gonna get not flipped back. Did not get vision though on the dragon, or on the banana bit, yeah. But he should have been able to see him. He just didn't know who else was in that bush. And that's going to be another Drake going over in favor of 3.
The net.
Oh, the net.
So
that's
what happened is
actually, I am going to stop you there very quickly before you keep going on. We're actually going to see the ultimate used by the Zillion, but it's just not enough down. They're going to see the Impale coming in, but Iron Pa is down and out for the count, flashing away the Zillion. But Yo says, I can follow you wherever you go. Double kill for the Ezreal. Sprinkles, you're just a little bit too little, too late. Zillion goes down off the backside. Triple kill for Cramp, and this team has ignited, and all the while Fiora is just going to continue to split push. They can honestly take multiple structures with this. It can maybe even go for the Baron.
You gotta wonder what Poppy was doing coming in at the end there. Maybe you killed the support, but is that really worth it? No. So Cork is definitely falling apart a little bit at the seams here. As we said, Fiora takes the tower at the top. We see Rift Herald and mid being popped, so this is the mid tower being taken, and we're seeing exactly what it's talking about in the picks and bans. It's a 4-1 comp, just a 4 members in the team. Actually, we're doing 1-3-1 at the moment now, but we're seeing in the fight, when it comes to team fights, that's what they're doing. Now they're going in really aggressive, just trying to use that pressure and maximize the Rift Herald, but doesn't matter what's happening to Rengus in top lane, he's still able to take out the tower.
And this is why you ban Fiora. Rengus able to 1v2, take the tower as well, and still come out on top. Corky's in the bot side as well, just taking up a tower. They're going to be able to flip off the Skarner, and actually Poppy goes down off the back side of this. This is a total decimation coming out here from Team 3. This honestly could be the game coming out pretty damn soon. They have got the damage to be able to do things. Ooh, Ferg just missed out on that Q, but never mind. Slippy was able to just pick that up with the ultimate there on the passive. Slippy though, very, very low, but there's the Unbreakable. Not going to be able to pick him up. It's going to be pretty much the base left in shambles, and that will be a huge swing of goal back to Team 3. Cork, I don't know if they can come back into this.
No, I don't think they can, to be honest. It's such a dominating performance, and like we said, I don't at all think Sprinkles has any issue on that. Like, he's actually played quite well in the lane, but just he started to fall behind through farm on the side of Rengus, and then that was it, and then we just saw them kind of take over. Like we said, Furf also in the mid lane. So Sprinkles played well, but unfortunately not enough.
Yeah, I actually quite like Cramp's build path right now because he's actually delayed his Bork just to pick up a Quicksilver Sash to put any kind of, doubt or CC that could possibly catch him out to rest, and he can 100% keep himself safe. I really like that. It's a very smart pickup in my opinion. Oh my god, there's so much damage there onto Sprinkles. Yo, just able to do so much. Has got the IE, or not the IE, sorry, excuse me, the Static Shiv and the Trinity Force working towards the IE. He's just a monster. You would imagine next point of call will be that Team 3 going for that Baron and then immediately trying to go for the base. Actually, never mind. It's going to look like they're going to go for Krusty Pants right now. They're going to delete him off the map, and now it's Gulag. He does get the suppression down onto the Corki, but to what gain? It's just not really much they could do about it. Actually, Corki does fall off. Poppy does get a double knockup, but there's just no real damage left on the side of Cork City. They get the Zillion off onto Sprinkles, but he's just not able to do anything. Rengus finds himself now in mid lane. He's able to join in with his team. They only lost one. They can end the game.
Yeah, I mean, he was pushing bot lane and was doing a lot of damage to the tower, but then once Corki went down in that team fight, he just rotated around. To be honest, he could have just split pushed to victory, but it doesn't matter. Play as a team, win as a team, and we can see that 3 is going for that final push. Sprinkles is trying to deny it, but I'm not sure it's going to be much. Rengus is going low, but he does have the Guardian's Angel.
Yeah, he's going to get that proc, but it's all a little bit too little, too late. Cramp able to keep himself alive. He wants to keep that perfect KDA of 6-0-6, and at 15-4, 25 minutes games realistically, it's going to be Team 3 taking the win.
Yeah, a really impressive gameplay coming out of 3. We weren't so sure how they would perform and if they would be as bloodthirsty, but they absolutely were. Cork, though, some promising shining lights, but they need to figure out what they're trying to do and how they're going to do it. But that's going to be it from us for tonight. It's been a great day, great casting, and we'll see you guys next week.
Lads, thank you very much for that. Thank you to our casters all evening. Go and save your voice. They've been talking solidly for the last few hours. So thanks again to Oisín. Thanks to Nikita. We are joined by the winner and the loser from the last game. Let's talk, if we can, first of all, to Sean from Team 3. Now, first of all, Sean from Team 3. I think it was 10-1 when it come to the castles. I think there was somewhere in the region of 17,000 difference in the goal. Tell me, it started tight. We thought we were going to be here for a good 40, 50, maybe 60 minutes. What got you into that sort of momentum roll after about 18, 19 minutes?
Well, honestly, I knew we were going to win from the start outside of picks. I've got to thank Cork for that, actually. Us Dublin boys got to be home, about now. So Cork was like, leave Fiora open, let 3 end at 20 minutes, grand stuff. So got to thank them for that. They're good sports.
Well, what was it? Come in here a wee second, because we want to make sure we get pull yourself around there. We want to make sure we get the losing captain in as well. But
don't be calling him that now.
What was it about tonight that we did have 3 very quick games? Did it take a week for people to get used to the fact that you were playing on top of each other, you were playing in front of a studio audience, you were playing on Twitch in front of X amount of thousand people, and you were playing for €20,000? Do you think people are starting just about get used to it?
I just think, the preparation is just getting, better and better with some of the teams. The effort and work being put in is insane, actually. So I believe that the winner of the tournament overall is just going to be the team with the most work, maybe as opposed to the best roster. And the preparation here showed. I actually came into this game with a very solid draft. Threw it out the window though, seeing their bans. So maybe the preparation was wasted in our case, but you see with Shamrock Rovers and stuff, they obviously came in prepared and ready to win with a convincing win over Sligo. It didn't help Dak and Inting, but it is what it is. So as I said, just preparation came through for us.
We had a cocky and confident Cork last week because they said they put in the preparation, but it looked like 3 put more than they did this week, Holly.
Oh, absolutely. Tail between your legs, Caelan, this week in the home grind as well. As you say, it's always nice to win. It is never nice to lose. How are you feeling?
Pretty bad after that game. I thought we had a solid draft going in because we let him win on his comfort pick, top lane on Fiora. So we thought we counted that with the Poppy and then just ban out junglers after. So we thought we had a solid draft. We're doing pretty okay, and then just kind of fell apart, and then that was the end of it. So
as Connor said, it was going so well for you. It started so strong, but where you went wrong, didn't you?
Yeah, it was just that play where we sent Zillion and Poppy top, and we just lost all pressure off that. So it was kind of more like we were kind of keeping the pieces of the puzzle together until that happened, and then it just fell apart. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know what, though? There's always next week. That is the beauty of this tournament. Sligo is next. Guys, we're going to see you there.
Lads, we'll see you in Sligo. Thank you to you for watching this evening. Thank you to you for getting on to Twitch, no matter where you're watching in the world this evening. We're in a rather crisp and cool Cork tonight. Well done to all the winners tonight. Commiserations to the losers. They'll get more opportunities next week to try and get back to see who can win themselves €20,000 and the potential of a trip to Las Vegas. But as Holly has been telling you right throughout this, the 3 Ireland EStars, we have one rule and one message to bring you.
One thing to remember, guys, this is not a game. Good night.
Good night.